Well, we've done one Pixar trilogy. How about another?
We can defend this. Alright, let's start off by ranking Andy's toys. These are specifically Andy's toys, which means sadly we can't rank Barbie from Toy Story 3, even though she's awesome and steals every scene that she's in. We're starting off with a fairly good boy, Slinky.
No, actually, we should start off by just reaffirming something really quick about the nature of tier lists. Let's be clear, tier lists are not S is 10 out of 10, C is 7 out of 10, or 4 out of 10, or anything like that. No. This is based off school grades, okay?
To be clear, the original basis of the tier list system, which has been a thing since the early 2000s, is based on the American school grading system. C is average, D is below average, B is above average, A is exceptionally good, F is fail. That's why it goes A, B, C, D, F. There's no E. S comes from the Japanese school system, which adds the S tier as a special exception. The absolute top of the class. They're the very best it could ever be. That is how we did the entire Cars tier list, and that's how we're doing this one. C is perfectly fine.
Slinky, I think, is actually better than C. He really is kind of a cool toy. Everyone loves those little Slinky coil things. But that's that in a dog. It's a stretchy dog.
It's also shocking how much use they get out of him in these movies. He is kind of a Cars character. He's a bunch of quirks. You'd think that they kind of, shove him off to the side, maybe get rid of him for Toy Story 3. By the way, that's what we're counting for here. These are the core toys of the franchise because they're the ones that Andy kept. And then we had to throw in Bo Peep. Slinky stayed around and he is consistently useful. He's dedicated, he's kind, he's loyal. You kind of can get the vibe of how the entire group is feeling when everyone else has individual opinions by how Slinky fits in. That could be like a good argument for C, but I think we can go B. This is based on toy and character, by the way. I think we should get the two S's out of the way.
That's true. Obviously, Ham is incredible. He and Potato Head almost go hand in hand. They're like always the ones delivering the real lines. Like they're kind of who they almost see the world for what it is. But Ham has sort of the pragmatic view of it. He understands the goings-ons of human life.
Oh, I seriously doubt he's getting this kind of mileage.
But Potato Head is always the one to like cut to the center of other characters.
Yeah.
Didn't want to face the fact that Buzz just might be Andy's new favorite toy. So you got rid of him. But what if Andy starts playing with me more, Woody, huh? You're gonna knock me out of the window too?
Mr. Potato Head is a little more of a nihilist. He's a very harsh cut in a very round, soft series of films, so he works really well. Ham is a lot more of that rounder, softer kind of character. I don't know, is he Slinky level?
But like he is very respectable.
He is respectable, but also as a toy, kind of sucks.
That's true, he's just a piggy bank.
Yeah.
More on that
so
later.
I think he's fine as our first C. I think Potato Head gets like undeservedly little attention.
That's right.
By the fandom.
I did not remember how funny he is.
For context, we watched all 4 of these films about 2 days apart each right before making this tier list. Who's really getting into A tier here? Not too many. I feel like his wife.
The thing is, there's really not a lot to say about Miss Potato Head because this feels really bad to say, but she's sort of an accessory to Mr. Potato Head. And it's really unfortunate to say, but it is true. It's not like I dislike her. Her personality is that she's Mr. Potato Head's wife.
I appreciate them trying to give her more to do in Toy Story 3. She's one of the keys to tying the toys in Sunnyside back to Andy because she left her eye there. The other films of her appearance, she does absolutely zilch. The Potato Heads as toys, by the way, Sarge.
He is just the one gag, but like he's never overplayed.
We kind of said it in the Cars tier list. It depends on how much you like the one gag of the hyper-serious army character.
And Toy Story 1, he filled a very respectable role.
He did. He actually had a solid role to play, and his scenes were entertaining. He served as yet another wall in Woody's emotional way in Toy Story 3. by him giving up as one of the oldest toys alongside Woody. I think he's perfectly fine in C. Bullseye, it's difficult like in my head to do like a plushie that's a horse correctly that just doesn't come off as awkward, and somehow they nailed it with Bullseye. As a character in the movies, he's a dog. In a series that has Slinky and Buster, Bullseye is the dog. I think in every scene where he has an action or emotion to display, he's very much the heart of the group. His emotional state is key to feeling out the emotional state of the scene and the group as a whole. Even like just the scene in Toy Story 3 of Woody and the others going separate ways, but Bullseye trying to stick with Woody only to be torn in two different directions was a very good scene specifically because of what they did with Bullseye in it. In Toy Story 2, when Woody was trying to leave and abandon the rest of the museum toys, because you look through the entire films from the perspective of one protagonist, and Bullseye being there as a heart to showcase everything else going on in the scene around that protagonist fulfills a strong role.
I think it's a solid B tier.
I would agree. Jessie.
Jessie is pretty good.
I think people give her more credit than she is due. I think it's intentional. She doesn't meld with the rest of the cast. She kind of stands out on her own, but at the same time, she's unmistakably like part of the core group. Every time that there is like a conflict of interest, she is going to be on one side, and either Woody or Buzz is going to be on the other side. She has a very distinct, very strong personality and set of pillars that she doesn't herself fully understand sometimes. And like, it's cool. She feels like a real person, a real character, especially in comparison to, you know, Mrs. Potato Head or even Bullseye and Slinky. She's just not like, I feel like there's a lot of people being like, oh, you know, Woody, Buzz, and Jessie. And it's no. I think top of A tier.
I would agree.
The LGMs.
I like them. They are literally what they say on the tin. Funny little green men.
I'm never mad to see them. They make me laugh a fair bit. I really like that they and Buzz come from the same universe because toys built off of that universe specifically have the defect of thinking that they're real.
Right, I really like that that's somehow consistent.
Yep, really good. It's kind of a shame we aren't ranking Buzz Lightyear Star Command stuff because, ooh, these guys are pretty darn good in that. I think they're very solid. C tier. Rex?
He just has an incredibly naive personality.
He's the little brother of the group. He almost fulfills a similar role to Bullseye in the first movie, but not quite because he goes along with what everyone else does and says really easily as well. He's fun, but ironically enough, he doesn't do a lot with the films.
No.
He's better than Mrs. Potato Head, but I think he's in D, even though I like him. All right, now let's get to the actual
Woody. Man, what a strong character.
Right?
So well written.
People really forget who Woody is in Toy Story 1 for the majority of the film.
Yeah, he's the favorite and he knows it. He
Yeah.
takes advantage of that.
His defining character traits of love and understanding and loyalty. Loyalty, number one. The other two, number 2 and 3, they can be switched around. They're all present in every film. Toy Story 1, they are also present, but they are twisted to almost like a dark place. In the first 2 films, there is a consistent thread of insecurity, but in the first film, insecurity isn't even the proper term. It's much deeper and much harder than that. Because like even at the beginning of Toy Story 2, like he's afraid that Andy won't take him to cowboy camp just because he's lost his hat. Bo has to remind him of how much he means to Andy and how that's like a bond that won't easily be broken just because he doesn't have a hat. But that's something that he has to deal with and fully understand and appreciate throughout that entire film. Toy Story 3 is really interesting for Woody. His character growing is virtually done. Almost for that entire film, he's in the right, aside from being able to understand other people's positions more easily, which is something that he grows into throughout the course of that film.
He was right, but he didn't realize for a while that Andy needed to move on.
They took everything that he learned in the first 2 films and really hardened them into concrete. Like they made it so that, okay, this is a defining part of his characteristics. He knows these for a fact now and he relies on them and he trusts them because of everything that he went through in the first 2 films. That's where we're approaching it from the 3rd film. And as a result, he doesn't really have a positive character arc in that film. He does, but it's a very minor one. He has a flat character arc. His words, his actions, and his motivations changes other people around him. I love seeing that because it's so rarely done. And I just think he's an incredible force in all 3 Toy Story films. And then there's Toy Story 4.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 It does damage to his character, not as much as you would think, but it does damage it quite a bit, because at the end of that movie, he just inexplicably walks back some of his principles without much justification, particularly in regards to what you have to do for a kid.
I wouldn't say some. I would say all, including his core. We can talk about that later. For the majority of the film, he's fairly intact. And it's kind of weird seeing this really good character with a strong moral center who's like no longer has any of the darkness or selfishness that pervaded him in the first film. He has been developed on throughout these 3 major journeys in a film that just does not suit that.
This is not a Mater situation where one movie craters him. He is already such a well-written character that he still doesn't sustain enough damage to get knocked out of S.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely S.
Buzz, yet another excellent character. I mean, of course, it makes sense these are the main 2 characters of the franchise. He is so good.
In my head, when you say Buzz Lightyear, I think of him kind of how he is at the start of Toy Story 1. He really comes into his own as an incredibly strong character in Toy Story 2 and 3. I love that he falls naturally into the secondary leadership position, the Star Trek #1 slot commander. And it's so interesting to see him and Woody bounce off of each other after Toy Story 1 when they were in such conflict, and now they are brothers in arms with completely different skill sets and almost different worldviews, but complementary to the utmost degree. We'll probably have some more to say about Buzz in a later tier list. I just think he's great from beginning to end. The end being the end of Toy Story 3. So let's talk about Toy Story 4.
And so it begins. Bo Peep is almost the Mater situation, except for the fact that Bo Peep really didn't have a character to begin with. That's the thing. We can only rank Toy Story 4 Bo Peep because in Toy Story 1 and 2, Bo Peep is the kind of, I wouldn't say Woody's prize, but like...
Look, they were 90s movies, all right?
Yeah, she does act as a foil to Woody, almost, in a couple of ways, but she really did not get anything to do. I do think that in Toy Story 1, she's probably just there to, like, you know, expand on the concept of toys as living beings and show that, yeah, they have love interests.
Toy Story 2 does give her some more lines. It does give her a little more to do. It develops on their relationship by having her be a rock that Woody can lean on before he is taken away from the house and loses her and that entire scenario. So like there's a little something, but really not much. Then Toy Story 4 happened.
And she's a new person in Toy Story 4. She has changed so dramatically, and not in the way where like fictional characters age up and change their ideals like, you know, like Woody did.
Yeah.
No, she is just a different person.
So let's talk about the new Bo. I hate her.
Bad.
She's terrible.
She is such a bad person. Like, we can get
She's not a good character either. She's extremely inconsistent.
She is so selfish.
Yep.
Literally goes on the mission to save Forky for old time's sake and dips out when it gets hard.
Here's the thing. Toy Story 1 is a moral story about selfishness. Toy Story 2 is a moral story about having faith. Toy Story 3 is a moral story about loyalty. Bo Peep in Toy Story 4 is selfish, has no faith in anyone but herself, and holds no loyalty to anyone or anything beyond her own interests. And she is made out to be the good guy. She is made out to be the best character and the moral paragon of the film.
Even when she goes back to help out Woody near the climax of the movie, she doesn't do it because it's the right thing. She explicitly does it because she's in love with him.
Also, her being in love with Woody in this new version just makes no sense. They're incompatible, I'm sorry.
No,
like, they have no chemistry. How do I put it? It's like they tried to make a strong, independent female character by having her just be a terrible piece of crap. And then said, look how strong and independent it is, even though like they already nailed that sort of character before. The large reason she was made like one of the main characters of Toy Story 4, arguably the main character, is for that aspect, and she does it very poorly. And we aren't against that aspect at all.
You know who's a better, strong, independent female character? Elsa.
I feel like if I watched Frozen 2 right now, after having seen Toy Story 4, I would be like weeping over how well these characters were done. Yeah, F tier. Actually, there are no F tier characters in Toy Story. Well, we've ranked how good the toys are. What about the kids who play with them?
Yeah, that's true.
This is ranking how good they are as toy owners, not as characters, as toy owners.
And Andy is like the ideal toy owner. He loves them so much. Literally, he was moving out that week in Toy Story 1, and he loved Buzz so much, he got all that Buzz merchandise and decorated his room to be Buzz themed.
Yep, but the interesting thing is he never forgot about the other toys. Like, even Woody, like he
held on
involved
to his hat.
Yeah, he involved them all to different degrees. When Woody went missing, he missed both of them dearly. And in the second film, like, he loves them on almost equal playing field, but Woody has that little special sauce.
And he was just going through a phase too, which the toys didn't really understand. But like, you know, I can throw out serum when I got phase planned.
Yeah, but like, yeah, Toy Story 2, he's still a fantastic toy owner. He plays with his toys, he takes really good care of them, and then when he accidentally harms Woody, he's very upset about it, and he doesn't bring him to cowboy camp specifically so that he will not take more damage. I think Toy Story 3 is like the ultimate example of a perfect toy owner.
Andy loved his toys so much. It didn't seem that way in Toy Story 3 because it's coming from the toys' perspective. But you think about it, it's true. He did not get rid of his core set. He kept them in the chest in his room with him.
And he hesitated until days before he was to leave to college to even put them in the attic.
Yeah, because he didn't know what to do. He didn't want to deal with them because he loved them. He cared for them, but he had moved on from playing with them. He's not using them. And he finally decided, begrudgingly, to put them in the attic.
And even then, he took one of them with him to college.
Exactly. He took Woody with him to college. You can tell, also as part of his character growth, what a hard obstacle it was for him to move on and give them to a new owner. Because that was the right thing for him to do.
He was actively upset when he found out that the mom accidentally threw them away.
He didn't want to get rid of them.
Yeah. And he made sure that their new owner was someone who would appreciate, honor, and take care of them just as he had. He wanted to make sure they went to a good home that as good as his was. Now, what about his replacement, Bonnie?
Bonnie is pretty likable.
I like her.
We don't get a lot of time with her is the thing. We get just enough to understand that she is a good toy owner. She cares about her toys a lot. I mean, she even puts pictures of them on the wall. She has these elaborate play times and play sets and stuff. You can even see that she has like elaborate settings for what she wants to do. Like Hat Shop is clearly an established one she likes.
Out of all the kids in the series, she's the one who sees the toys the most as if they were alive. It really feels like she's trying to make sure the toys have fun too.
I know Toy Story 4 tries to say otherwise, but she did not let go of Woody.
No.
Okay? Like, here's the thing. The line in that movie is, that's the third time you haven't been picked this week.
That's the third time you haven't been picked this week. I don't know. I don't keep count.
We don't know what day of the week it is, but that implies that Woody was still picked at least once that week. You know how many days are in a week? 7. Only 7. Woody was still being played with. She was just not in a Woody phase at that moment.
Yeah, if they were just straight up counting, you know, this is the third time you haven't been picked in a week, that means that she was still playing with Woody, her least played with toy, more times than not.
Bonnie is just a good toy owner.
A tier.
A tier.
Rajan.
So here's what he did. He got his dream toy, Duke Kaboom. Saw the commercial where he's flying through the air, just like Lightning McQueen. So he sets Duke Kaboom up, and he fails once. Okay, there's a number of things that could have happened. Maybe it wasn't pulled back far enough. Maybe the set was just too big. Maybe the ramp was too big. Who knows what could have happened? Didn't even try again. Immediately throws it away. Is done with him. What an ungrateful, spoiled brat.
Yep, he's bad. Emily, she loved Jessie and had like her room styled around her. And then she grew up.
Jessie got lost, and then she moved on. But the thing is, though, like, something to be clear about is that Jessie was not lost in an obtuse place. Jessie was lost under the bed. When you lose a toy or something like that, well, the first place you check is under your bed. Especially if, you know, that toy's, like, sleeping with you every night. So the fact that, like, Jessie wasn't found or anything already implies that Emily was starting to move on.
Well, there's also a previous implication because she put Jessie on her bed. And then we saw visually lots of time pass without her ever moving off the bed, which I didn't, was she sleeping somewhere else and then she grabs the pillow to use in a pillow fight, and that's when Jessie falls off. So she's like being ignored already. Jessie was a phase toy, but unlike Andy, when she grew out of the phase, she stopped caring about the toy.
She decides, okay, well, I've had my fun with these. I don't really care about them anymore.
Honestly, she's like an average kid.
She is.
Jessie was more obsessed with her than she cared about Jessie. Let's be honest. That is still C tier. What is going on?
What is happening?
What?
What, is Tier Maker broken?
Sid,
Here's the thing. You can't fault his creativity. He's very creative in the way he tortures his toys.
as a toy owner, how is he?
He's not a great toy owner. He even mistreats other toys. Like, a lot of people try to do this revisionist thing about Sid. Like, oh, he was a great toy owner. But, like, he wasn't. Let's not forget that Sid stole his sister's toy, mangled it, and then gave it back.
Yeah, he didn't want to go that far into it because Toy Story 1 is a story about toy conflict and not human conflict. Sid is a bully. He is supposed to be a bully. He is not a good person. He's a terrible toy owner as well. He uses the toys in operations and blows them up with rockets and all that kind of stuff, and then he immediately forgets about them. We never, ever see him play with any of the mangled toys. He throws them under the bed and around the room carelessly. They don't have designated spots. He puts them out in the yard and buries them in sand and then forgets about them. He doesn't care about them.
There are kids that just play rough with toys, like very rough.
But
Sid is on,
still
like,
love them.
Yeah, Sid is on the very rough end, and he doesn't really love his toys.
No, yeah, it's like someone who breeds ants specifically so they can burn them with a magnifying glass. A weird comparison. It's like the person who treats video games as toys. He treats toys as something lower than what they are. Definitive F tier.
Yeah.
Molly, here's the thing. We get 2 bits. We get 2 bits of information.
Okay.
Okay, the first is in Toy Story 3. She is in that phase where she's like growing out of the toys and is like, I'm not really into all that kind of stuff. But she still held on to a lot of her favorite childhood ones. And even when she had to get rid of them, like donate them to Sunnyside, she only picked like the oldest ones that she knew for certain she wasn't going to care about anymore. And she was clearly still interested in like Andy's stuff too. So like I think that the little bit we get for her in Toy Story 3, she's probably a pretty decent toy owner. Then we get Toy Story 4. She does 2 things in Toy Story 4. The first thing is that she gets rid of Bo Peep. She's like, I don't want it anymore. Go ahead, take it. Very callously. And later in the film, it's like, oh, Molly loved Bo Peep. So Emily's situation. So Toy Story 4 hurts Molly, but it hurts her far more than that because we get a better look at her toys, including her Barbies. And let's just say it's pretty interesting. The only one she kept.
That's true.
Toy Story 4 made Molly problematic.
Oh no. Sorry, Molly. You're better than Rajan.
Harmony. She was a toy owner very briefly.
She owned Woody very briefly.
Very briefly. She immediately forgot about Woody as soon as he was lost in the playground.
Yep, never mentioned again.
And then when she saw and picked up Gabby, she seemed clearly intrigued and was like, don't really care. Instead of placing her back down carefully, just threw her in a box.
That's right, she did place her back. She was like a porcelain doll.
Yep.
She threw her in a box.
Now that's the thing, that's one of the few things Toy Story 4 I feel like does right. Harmony is made out to be like a fairly standard kid, but not a great toy owner. And the reason that Gabby is obsessed with her is entirely superficial. But we can talk about that more later, I guess. I think she's not great. Al, from Al's Toy Barn.
Here's the thing. Al sources his toys maybe unethically. That being said, he absolutely takes care of them.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot deny otherwise. He made sure Woody was ready to go.
There's a through line throughout Toy Story 2 that Al has a deep inherent respect for toys. Like, he gets upset that he has to go to work, on a Saturday across the street, how dare they or whatever, but he's still gonna trust that job to himself over someone he hired.
Like, this isn't talking about who he is as a person. He's not a good person.
No.
But as a toy owner,
yes,
he is excellent.
He keeps all of his toys that he has at home in perfect glass display cases. Obviously, they're worth a ton of money, so he would. But he's a messy guy who throws like Cheetos all over and has dusty fingers.
Yeah.
However, at any point, could you imagine him actually handling Woody or Jessie or Bullseye or even Prospector's box with those fingers?
No.
Never.
The worst he did was that he accidentally ripped Woody's pull string out while moving him around because it got caught on something. And he was mortified.
Yep.
He had someone on speed dial to get it taken care of immediately. He was already planning on taking care of the rip.
Obviously, he's not a true kid toy owner because he doesn't play with his toys.
No.
He sets them up, he looks at them, and he appreciates them. He's a anime figure collector is really how he treats toys.
Yeah.
And so they aren't going to be as in good condition as they are with Andy and Bonnie and that kind of stuff. But, as far as, homes to live in where you just get to hang out with your friends all day, don't have to really worry about anything bothering you, Owl's house is not bad. I think A tier below Bonnie.
This is Dane from the future. We totally forgot about Hannah, Sid's sister. We would put her in A tier after discussing it because she comes from the same household as Sid and the same parents, and yet she actually cares about her toys, and she even takes in Buzz. So you know what? Good on you, Sid's sister. A tier. Okay, that's it. We can move on now.
Hi, this is Dane from the future. And no, we can't continue because we forgot another one. Daisy, the owner of Lotso and Big Baby and the clown guy. Daisy is entirely innocent. It was her parents that bought the replacement plushies, not her. They lost the plushies. The parents bought replacement plushies. That's very normal. Daisy didn't know anything about it. We don't have anything else on her as an owner, so she gets in C tier on default. Okay, now we can actually move on.
Now let's do antagonists of the series.
Yes.
Let's go over a couple of them again.
Yeah, Sid.
As an antagonist,
Yes.
he's pretty great actually.
He is.
He's such a good counter to Andy.
But it's really intelligent of them to straight off the bat in Toy Story 1 establish, that's the greatest thing in the world. A toy lives to be played with by its owner. You, as the kid watching this movie who owns toys, are doing them a wonderful service. And then immediately show the other side of the coin, that there are such things as bad toy owners, as kids that toys don't want to be with. Those who use and abuse them for their own selfish pleasure. And that really is the core of it. Toy Story 1's main theme, its main conflict, is about being selfish, down to how Woody treats Andy, how Andy doesn't treat Woody, Buzz's ideals that stand out against it, and how he always includes Woody in everything. Everything about that movie kind of revolves around that one big thing. It's kind of subtly brilliant. Toy Story 1, this entire new movie exclusively about toys and kids and all that stuff, its primary moral is learn to share. Sid is the ultimate negative of that. He is the single most selfish character in the entire franchise intentionally, and he is actively taught the consequences of it at the end.
And the way he's dealt with this is so great.
Yes, it is. It's an extremely fun and very fitting takedown. I think he's really good. Now for Al from Al's Toy Bar.
He is a bad person. He lowballs for Woody incredibly. Instead of coming back and having to sit down with the parent, okay, so this is what Woody is worth. This is what I can do for you, or whatever. Yep. Which honestly, the parent would probably listen to. There are ethical ways for Al to do this.
Yep.
He did not. Instead, he immediately resorted to picking the lock and stealing him without a second thought.
Yep.
So it established him he's a bad person.
He's the ticking time bomb, is what it is. Realistically, he never does anything to impede anyone's progress. He's a villain, but he's not necessarily an antagonist. Really, it's Jesse, Bullseye, and Prospector who are antagonists at first, then Prospector, with Al functioning as the time bomb. And you do kinda, even though he's a petty thief, at the end of the film, you feel really bad for him. He 100% thought that he was going to be a multi-millionaire.
He's set for life.
Yeah, move on from his, random payroll job where he just sells toys for a living. He was going to just have a nice, simple, easy life for the rest of his days. He was so happy living out the American dream, and then it was all thrown away by a force that he could not control.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily if he did things the right way, this wouldn't have happened. No, this still would have happened.
Yeah.
If he did things the right way with Andy's mom, just because of the Toy Story universe being the way it is. So you do feel bad for him at the end, but he isn't a good person.
C for chicken?
C for chicken.
Prospector, the actual villain antagonistic force.
And he is a good one. I do like that his character is so different from the one in the show.
Yeah.
Because in the show, Woody and Jesse are kind of vaguely similar to, who they are as toys. But the Prospector in the show, he's a moron.
Yep.
But the Prospector, the character, is this intelligent, manipulative man.
As a character at first, he's perfectly fine. As a twist villain, kind of obvious, but it works.
He is a good one.
Yeah, like it's not like with Cars 2 where they came out of nowhere. Like there were definitely character traits that you could see being set up.
And he has a great counter worldview ideology to the, themes of the movie too.
Him at the end of the film popping out of the box and punching Buzz and then ripping Woody's arm is like, okay, you can go with me.
Going berserk.
Yeah, Like, it's a perfect falling down from this kind old gentlemanly soul into being so selfishly obsessed with not being a kid's toy that he is willing to hurt other people to, like, go to what he has imagined in his mind as his only good fate.
I do also really like that he is not redeemed at the end of the movie, but he has a chance at redemption.
That was Woody's idea. That's kind of Woody's thing. Like, that's stated at the end of Toy Story 3. He'll never give up on you. That's another incarnation of it. He gives them a chance to see a new way of life. Just throw this out there, by the way. Bo Peep and Prospector are the same person.
This is true. They have the same.
They have the same motivation, the same ideologies, and the same crazy faults.
Literally, Bo Peep is also on the shelf, waiting to be solved.
They both hurt people in their selfish efforts to sustain what they believe is the only viable method by which they can be happy. You watch these two films back to back, and it becomes pretty darn obvious. Anyway, he was the villain, and a good one. Ken.
I like Ken a lot as a character.
Me too.
He is so likable.
I like that he stands out from everyone else in the cast so very hard, but in such ways that you can see his perspective and see how he works both as a positive and a negative force. As a villain, I think he works because he is so disarming at first, and then, when his true ideals are revealed, he is very menacing right up until, he's hit in the weak spot. Yeah. And then, his original part comes through, and, you can see the two sides of himself that are, fighting. The true Ken, and then the burden that's been placed upon him. It's very strong. I like him. B tier?
Yep. Big Baby. I'm impressed that they managed to make one of those baby dolls incredibly intimidating.
Yes.
In the escape sequence.
Big Baby is the force of nature of Toy Story 3.
In fact, oddly enough, Big Baby's first appearance at Sunnyside is your first sign just by vibes that something is off with the place.
Yes.
She's not like the other toys at all.
Once the dark side comes out, Big Baby being the muscle, they are in the middle of the escape sequence and he shows up and instantly everything goes dead quiet. It works really well. And then his actual characterization, it's smaller than the other villains, but it is there. His relationship with Daisy and how that is turned around into sort of a memory of what it was to be a real toy. It makes it seem like Big Baby has been converted from a real person into this unfeeling monster and then gets some semblance of that emotion back and ultimately betrays Lotso by the end of it. And it's very good, it's very strong. It has no real personality besides that, but I don't know, I feel like he's handled pretty perfectly.
B for Baby.
B for Baby.
All right.
And then we have Lotso.
The first thing I said to Joseph after we finished watching Toy Story 3 again was, I did not remember that Lotso is an absolute a-hole.
Yes.
He sucks.
He is bile water. As a twist villain, he's definitely the best twist villain that the series has ever had. Maybe the best twist villain in Pixar. He's almost as strong of a villain as Woody is as good of a protagonist.
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 acts as it's the ending of the series, but it's also the crucible in which all the primary themes of the trilogy come together. They have to make a villain that stands in absolute total ideal opposition to everything that this franchise means. And Lotso was that villain, and he fulfills it so well.
His backstory is so good. An understandable motivation for why he became the way he was. You can see how it corrupted him. But you can also tell that he wasn't a good person to begin with. Because he went to an extreme immediately.
Yes, the backstory is an intentional mirror of Toy Story 1. Toy Story 1, favorite toys are immediately lost. The primary character is feeling a strong sense of being replaced, of being not loved by their original kid. They ultimately, are perverted by their original sense of loyalty. The way that Toy Story 1 handles Woody and Buzz, and them eventually leaning on each other for strength, regaining faith in Andy, and by Woody giving that faith to Buzz, is a complete and total mirror to what Lotso does to his two companions. It's a really cool thing because Lotso, he is somewhat of a dark evil mirror of Buzz, somewhat of a dark evil mirror of, you know, Jesse, Mr. Potato Head, and all these other things, but like he is the one true Woody villain, is how it ultimately is.
I also like his resolution, that he is given the chance to sort of save himself with the toys. Like the toys all give him another chance by like pushing the button and stuff.
Yep.
But he deliberately takes the malicious way out. He saves himself, and even though it would be so effortless to save all the other toys that literally gave him the chance, saved his life from the dump, he just leaves them to die.
He is so spiteful for nothing. Arguably no good left in him, but we still get that tiny glimmer of potential hope at the end.
That's
which
right.
is something that the Toy Story series just does so well. Primary theme, Toy Story 1, selfishness. Sid fulfills that antagonist role super well. Toy Story 2, having faith. Prospector fulfills that antagonist role super well. Toy Story 3, loyalty. The previous two films also had strong aspects of, and Lotso just takes that and ramps it up on the opposite direction. He is so disloyal.
I think S, honestly.
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 is such a great movie.
It really is.
Like,
I don't think it gets enough praise.
There's a reason that it got screenplay and Best Picture nominations at the Oscars, and like the Academy do not give animated movies any respect at all. There's a reason this one got some respect.
Yeah. Gabby, as a character, as a villain.
She's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
She's a really bad antagonist. She's a really bad person. She's a really bad everything, actually. The thing is, it does succeed at first with making her intimidating, especially when she appears to be a nice toy.
The opening scene as she's like being rolled around in the baby carriage by the mannequin, and like as Forky and Woody, both of whom were having like a very pleasant, very Toy Story-like conversation before that point, are introduced to her, brought up, and she starts with like you know the nice fake smiles and the weirdly personal questions. It's deeply unsettling. It's this really strong sense of like, I think we stepped into a slasher movie. Okay.
Yeah. One of the things that really destroys Gabby is, oddly enough, some of her strengths as a villain. Because in many regards to Gabby, they put so much work into making her such a creepy and intimidating toy. Like the way that she's obsessed with Harmony because she looks like the girl in the book.
Yes,
you know?
that's the thing.
Keeping Forky as a hostage and telling him to play hide and seek with Woody, like being very manipulative. Even the scene when Gabby and Woody are talking about, you know, what's like to be loved as a kid. That dialogue is just excellent. Gabby getting into Woody's mind to get what she wants.
She learned everything that there was to know about Woody in the span of a night, and she uses it perfectly against him. She manipulates his train of thought.
I was defective right out of the box. I can only imagine what it must have been like for you. All that time you spent with Andy, riding a bike with him for the first time, proudly watching him grow up. And then you got a second chance with Bonnie. Be honest with me. Was it as wonderful as it sounds?
And it does throw one last bow into the audience, the clue that Gabby is ultimately just a bad person. The fact that she does not surrender Forky immediately, it is still a transaction.
I'd give anything to be loved the way you have.
Just leave me, Forky.
She manipulates Woody into not thinking it is, but it is a transaction, you know? So, like, with all the excellent writing behind this character, why are we talking like there's another shoe to drop?
She's a good guy.
Yeah, this is why she is not classified as a villain, because in the framing of the story, she's not a villain.
The story says she's right about everything. This scene that we just described is like there's the brilliant writing and this pure manipulation. You know what else is happening in that scene that we didn't mention? Because the dialogue's really good. Right, so the scene is shot as though she is in the darkness from Woody's perspective, slowly coming into the light as she continues talking. As visual storytelling, this is saying that Woody is now seeing her for who she truly is, not in an evil way, as in a good way, and that she was a good toy all along. And the music is this wonderful little somber piano piece. Look, the only thing that was actually preventing her from, finding her one true love, Harmony, is Woody's voice box. Isn't he so selfish for not cutting off one of his arms and giving it to her?
Many great antagonists have this flaw in their ideology where they become fixated on something that's just not true. Gabby's is the idea that because she's broken in that way, she's worthless. She's not good to a kid unless she's fixed that way. But this never gets challenged at all. The most it gets challenged is when Harmony just discards her anyway. But this is not enough challenge for that viewpoint. A lot of problems Toy Story are this way, where you can make a lot of arguments, where you can extrapolate from the movie. Well, you see in these small ways, this viewpoint or this thing was challenged. But it's not clear enough in the movie at all.
No, yeah, you can nitpick your way into finding excuses around some of its problems.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have to nitpick is the problem.
Yeah.
Because in any competently written story, they will make these things clear.
Yeah, the fact that she doesn't use the music box to find her eventual child, you can have someone point that out to you as the counter to the flaw in her ideology that the movie points out. But this is not framed that way in the movie at all. Sorry, I keep saying music box, I mean voice box.
That's all right. That scene where she does find the child is treated with a soft score and a strong sense of, there's still hope in her life. That's the framing of the scene. Is that, look, she helped this lost child and is now going to be their toy. Any other focus on any other part of it just isn't there.
It's just unsatisfying that there's no payoff for getting the
Yes.
voice box.
Yes, that's
That's the right time for payoff.
The primary conflict of the film up until the ending is trying to protect Woody from the slasher villain character. Except the movie says, she was never a slasher villain. She just wanted to steal part of his soul and use it for herself. Well, did it at least help her? No. And it genuinely feels like the movie just forgot about it. It forgot to have the voice box matter.
And the thing is, people make all these arguments for Gabby is not a bad person. The movie tries to make these arguments. But here's the thing, it's self-defeating, because in that same scene where you're supposed to realize that Gabby is a good person, allegedly, in that same scene, it's not true. Because she would have surrendered Forky immediately.
Yes,
the killing blow is that it is still a transaction.
If her intention was to convince Woody about her actual situation, her real life problems, and get him on her side, she would not still be holding Forky hostage.
Yes, she kidnapped Forky.
That is indisputable. She kidnapped someone and is holding them hostage as a transaction for another toy to give up a part of their body.
I don't want to overly speculate on the developing of movies, because a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes of movies, and oftentimes a lot of people's speculation on what went on is just plain wrong. But I can't help but feel that Gabby was originally just a full-on villain.
Yep.
But then maybe later on was reframed to be the sympathetic character.
After she is discarded by Harmony, she turns into a different character. That is the cutting off scene. Her personality is entirely different after that.
She's such a poorly written villain because she is such a villain that they desperately want you to think she isn't.
Also, her whole thing of, oh no, the kid doesn't love me because, I'm broke and my voice box doesn't work is just completely countered by Toy Story 2.
What a downfall from Lotso.
Yep. Well, that's enough serious topics. Let's go on to something way more fun. All the different versions of Buzz Lightyear.
This is interesting running gag. They really like to screw with Buzz.
Yeah.
Starting off with stock Buzz.
The original Buzz from the shelf who believed he was a space ranger. Honestly, fun character, great guy. He still has a lot of the strengths that later Buzz does. The second he sees a combat Carl in Sid's yard, is oh, they're gonna destroy him. He's I'm gonna go save him. Let's go.
I think one of the ways that Woody actually manipulates him, because when he tries to make Buzz a lost toy,
yes,
is by saying, Buzz, there's a toy in danger.
Yes, that is it. He is a very heroic figure. He's also hilarious. The one gag of him thinking that he's the Space Ranger, turns out it has a lot of legs.
It does.
Air is toxic.
How dare you open a spaceman's helmet on an uncharted planet?
He isn't just like a stock soldier either. He is like his own person.
I just want you to know that even though you tried to terminate me, revenge is not an idea we promote on my planet.
Oh, well, that's good.
But we're not on my planet, are we?
No.
Yeah, I really like him. I like him a lot because they also use this personality and voice as the baseline of Buzz Lightyear as the main character of Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
Yeah.
Which is a great film that sadly isn't on Disney+. It's like the Pixar film everyone forgets. We agreed here we would only be ranking stuff from Toy Stories 1, 2, 3, and 4, but Buzz Lightyear and this personality, excellent there too.
I'm gonna say A.
A. Okay. Then we have the real Buzz Lightyear. I love that he retains every good part of this Buzz.
Uh-huh.
But not just everything. Yeah. That's the thing. He is what this Buzz is and more. He fits so well in as his new role in Andy's realm. He takes serious stock of it and treats it as not just a job, but like a way of life. He's a very honorable person. He stands out among everyone else in the series. Mrs. Nesbit.
What do you do when you find out that everything you knew was a lie? You drink your problems away.
He lasted all of one scene. We have 90 minutes to tell the story. At about 50 minutes in, Buzz is rudely awakened to the reality that everything he knows, loves, remembers, his past, his family, his adventures, everything that he is has been a complete lie this entire time. How do we get across the problems that arise from that? Mrs. Nesbit!
All right.
C tier. Now we have Buzz 2? Belt Buzz?
Belt Buzz.
Belt Buzz from Toy Story 2.
This is a Buzz who still thinks he's a space ranger, but never got the chance to learn from it.
It's supposed to be kind of a mirror to this Buzz, but he's more extreme. It feels like he's been at this way of life much longer, in part because he does think that he's still like on the mission to defeat Zurg. He's not stranded on an alien planet or whatever. This is all just a continuous mission. So like the original Buzz, he would try to fly and fate would find a way to make him. This Buzz, I'm thinking about like the elevator scene of him taking out the magnets, which what kind of toy comes with magnets?
Crazy.
And it starts climbing up the shaft with all of the other toys dragging under him by the rope. And he's like, why don't we just take the elevator? They'll be expecting that. This Buzz is a lot crazier, but he's also really fun for that exact reason. He's also like one of the few flaws with Toy Story 2 because there is no point to him existing.
No, but he is really funny, so like I excuse it, but it's still like, if there was a chance to patch things about that movie, I would really give him a point.
Yeah.
Because he's a pointless character.
Yes, the theoretical conflict of him leading the toys and locking the other Buzz away is interesting, but unfortunately never amounts to anything. Movie problems, but good character. B for Belt.
Yes.
Demo Buzz.
This is Buzz, reserved to his factory settings, like he was when he came out of the box in Toy Story 1, but immediately indoctrinated by Lotso.
Yes.
And thinks he's on the mission.
Feeding into every single thing that this Buzz ever believed to make him into a villain, which is just a brilliant concept, by the way.
It's such a good concept. And like, I've seen some talk that like, oh, Toy Story 3, Buzz doesn't get a lot to do because he's just replaced. No. This is excellent because this is the same Buzz as he originally was in Toy Story 1 when he came out of the box. But in Toy Story 1, when he came out of the box, he met Woody. But in this one, he met Lotso, Woody's opposite.
Yes, that's the thing. You have to remember, Woody and Lotso are mirrors of each other. And so that Buzz comes out of the box and he meets Lotso, he becomes a different person. There's still a lot of elements of this guy, and you can plainly see them, but now he's an active danger. And he's a very effective antagonist for the short time that he lasts. It really works super well to show how far away we've come from this original Buzz. It's another way in which Toy Story 3 works really well as the train of everything from previous films coming together and crashing into the finish line.
And he helps strengthen Lotso's characterization, below the other Buzz.
Yep, Spanish Buzz.
Very stereotypy, but also hysterical.
Yep. I think this is what happened in the writer's room. They needed evil Buzz out of the way, and they knew that at this point in the film, they would naturally have come to a way in order to get rid of him and revert him to original Buzz. But they can't have original Buzz just yet, because they still need Woody to lead the charge entirely on his own for this section of the film, because that's important to the thematics of it. Spanish Buzz was their answer.
He is like, again, stock Buzz Lightyear,
but with a lot of quirks.
Yeah, he's just so exaggerated that it's so funny. And I don't even really know what else to say, really. Just the way he treats Jessie, the way that, like, Woody is, like, his friend, but he also has some feelings of resentment because he perceives Woody as being, you know, Jessie's partner.
There's almost a lot to unpack with Spanish Buzz and his emotional state and how he perceives the world around him. He immediately, like, meets and respects and has a friendship with Woody, only to, like, almost go and counter against that later, but ultimately, like, continues it through the end. But, like, you don't get quite enough time for any of that. You just see little bits and pieces, reminding you of all these buzzes that do kind of exist in there. I like that he doesn't stick around too long. We needed the old Buzz back for the climax, and there are still remnants. He forcefully evolves a Buzz and Jessie's relationship in a scenario in which that could not have happened, which is a solid move on the writing part.
I also just want to say it's great that, like, despite becoming a gay character, he isn't useless.
No.
He is a very useful force in the charge.
He's on their side and he likes everyone there. He's still a friend. Also, he provides a lot of lighthearted moments in what is otherwise a very tense sequence. But he's not a lot, you know? Now, we did say we wouldn't be getting spin-off films, but we had to make one exception. Spoilers for Lightyear. Not Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, Lightyear.
Berserk.
Berg, if you will.
This was funnier in my head.
So was he. What a truly awful plot twist. Like, maybe one of the worst.
Sorry, yeah, quick detour from the Toy Story tier list. Let's talk about for a second. Lightyear is a bad movie.
It is. It's just bad on its own. It lasts far too long. The main forces that it does have, it doesn't do anything with. And also Zurg being right about everything, and they still say he's the villain.
Well, the thing is, you can challenge that, but it doesn't really challenge it well.
That's, if we just, like, pretend that movie never existed. Oh, one good thing about that film. I don't care how much y'all complain about it. Chris Pine did a good job.
Oh, that wasn't Chris Pine, that was Chris Evans.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris Evans did a great job. The Woody's Roundup merch from Toy Story 2.
We saw this, and we were so impressed with the variety, we knew we had to rank it.
Yep.
Now, let me be clear. I did my best to get them all. There is a lot of merch in that scene. There are probably some stragglers that I missed. I'm sorry.
Okay, collectible mugs. These exist for everything and anything.
And this is the clearest shot we get of them.
The tiny bit that I can see, it has an okay design. It shows the character portraits and there's a little symbol around them. I like that it has lines on the top and the bottom. It makes it more than just we threw a picture onto a mug. That being said, they're still just mugs and everything has mugs. D tier. Alarm clock.
I think this is the Jessie alarm clock specifically.
It is.
It's a nice little alarm clock that actually it's not. The design is terrible.
No, yeah, I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
What's with the 3 rings at the bottom? It's like it's on a screen that hasn't sprung yet. Also D, arguably F. A lamp.
This is really hard to get a shot of. This is actually the recreation in Disney hotels.
Oh.
It's almost just like the movie. However, they did mess up the coloring on the boot. The emblem's supposed to be colored in, but whatever.
It's a novelty item, 100%. Like, there's no way you actually buy this because you need a lamp and you think it looks cool. It's still D tier.
Yeah.
It's a horseshoe picture frame. I think that has an actual purpose. Framing a picture in a horseshoe, if it's a Western-styled room especially, I think really works well. I think that the frame is a little thick. If you put a normal picture in, it would cut off a lot of it. So you have to edit your picture specifically for this frame, and that's a problem.
It's kind of cute, but it's an inadequate picture frame. Again, D tier.
Jessie lunchbox.
There are 2.
Finally, we have something decent.
There are actually 2 lunchboxes. These are metal lunchboxes specifically, by the way.
Metal lunchboxes are the best lunchboxes. I think we all know that and agree with that. Lunchboxes as a whole, like as a concept, not great. You know, you can fit a lot more in a brown paper sack. But if you're a little kid and you want to show off, you know, you get a lunchbox. These are pretty well designed lunchboxes, actually. I quite like them. I love the cowskin pattern on Jessie's.
They actually both have cowskin patterns.
Oh, cool.
It's just hard to see.
I like how this one is Woody's Roundup, but this one is specifically Jessie styled. I think these are good.
I like them. We can move them straight to B tier, honestly. Yep. The mini Woody guitar.
So like you press a button and it plays a song.
Well, there's no button. These are actual strings, but it's practically useless. I would
maybe
say
F.
a bullseye stick. You know, like a horse stick?
No, I don't.
Riot as a kid.
I see. But instead of it being cloth head, it's...
A wood bullseye.
Wow, they really did have it rough back in the day.
Woody clock.
I love the blue. It fits very well.
The wood frame is really nice.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's 100% it. And I like that the clock hands, there are 3 of them, but they aren't intrusive. Like, it's not fantastic, but it's solid.
Yeah, as far as character themes, clocks go. C for clock. Woody's Roundup plates.
I've actually always kind of been a sucker for collectible plates.
These are all really good designs for them, too.
You have the character in the center, but they explode, like, out onto the rims of the plates. You have the character in their own unique fonts at the bottom. Same designs around the edges to make them clear as a set. I think this is solid. This is like B tier.
Yeah. Woody's Roundup flag. There's actually 2 of these, but the second one literally has an unfocused background shot in Toy Story 2, and that's all you see of it. So I just counted the one.
I'm not big on flags. What do you think?
No, this is kind of, why would you have this? It's like a F tier?
No, D.
D.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a kind of why.
Woody's Roundup cup. This is the thermos. It's not a very creative design, actually.
No, it's
like,
not.
Even the cap is just generic.
What's the point of... It feels like, what's the point of having this on a cup? Nah, this sucks. This is like F tier. This is easy bait. Buy it for your kid material.
I'm not sure what this is.
Is that a wheel?
I don't know. It looks like it comes out, right?
Yeah.
And it's in the movie. I don't know what it is.
Is it a canteen?
I think it is. It's supposed to be a Woody's Roundup canteen. It's very odd shape.
Yeah, the problem is it's too round. That's very uncomfortable for a canteen because it slaps against you too much and you can't set it anywhere. I like the leather design, but ultimately it just feels generic. F maybe.
Yeah, this is not good. The toy wagon.
I like this actually.
This is a nice wagon. Yeah.
Out of everything here so far, this is like the first one I would get because it's an actual toy. I think it's perfectly fine.
Yep, that's C tier toy.
Yep.
I would say below lunchboxes.
No, that's B tier. Put it in C.
Sorry.
It's fine. Who cares?
Below the clock. Ball toss game.
I actually like this.
This is hilarious.
This is like, why? That's so funny.
Awful taste, great execution.
Yes, that's the thing. I think that's like A tier straight up. That's so fun.
Woody bubble blower. Yeah. It's just the lamp again. I just accidentally put it in twice. The yo-yo.
Buzz, I was a yo-yo.
Was.
That's a perfectly fine yo-yo. I like that it's solid wooden. And the Woody design is non-intrusive. It seems like it's fairly quality. Not high quality, but fairly quality. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. Solid C tier.
Snake in my boot.
That is clearly the most distinctive piece of Woody's Roundup merch here. Everything else feels like we just took regular
rebranded.
stuff and rebranded it. This is a Woody's Roundup toy. And you know what? It's fun. I kind of wish we had something like that.
I think it's an A tier toy.
Yep.
Honestly, it's great theming for the show. Collectible spoons. This is not a great picture of them, but it's impossible to photograph them.
Okay.
But they are like distinctly their heads. They're
Yes.
outlined and everything.
I am less of a fan of collectible silverware than I am collectible plates. These are going to be actively annoying to use. Like, I know you don't use collectible spoons, but like, come on. I like the thing that they're sitting on. That's
Yeah,
a good spoon collector for the 4 of them. I wish that instead of just their heads being there, their designs were somehow actively worked into like the spoons themselves, you know? C tier maybe?
Yeah. C for spoon.
C for spoon.
Cowboy Crunchies, the cereal.
It's oven toasted oats. It's just Cheerios. Cheerios, as we determined, are actually a pretty good cereal.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything crazy. You just remove the top part of the Cheerio and it feels like it's a horseshoe now. The theming on it is pretty great. The picture of Woody eating the cereal, that's huge in comparison. It does feel like he's still a toy. Yeah, I like it.
I would say it's an A tier one.
Yep.
Suitcase record player. This is so good.
I actually love it.
It's so tacky and great.
It is so very like 60s. Perfect design, the beautiful like wood grain inside, and the background for the top that's just, this is a piece of Woody's Roundup merch. Hey, howdy, hey, here's everyone here. Like, that's just fantastic. You pair it with the Woody's Roundup vinyl, and man, you've got something special. I would buy this in a heartbeat.
I think this is an S tier, honestly.
I think it's probably our only S tier.
The Woody's Roundup coin bank. Let's be clear, this is useless as a bank. Look
Yes.
how small that is. The novelty is the little thing it does, the mechanics. Like, you wind it up, and the prospector takes the coin to plate and gives it to Woody, and then puts it in the orphan's tin.
There's no way that this works without regular maintenance.
Yeah.
Would I ever use this in my own house? No. When I go to grandma's, would I use this more than once? No. It's fine.
What, a C tier?
Yeah.
Woody's Roundup bedding.
I like that.
Like, listen, okay, technically it's not branded, but like, look at Jesse's patterns. Look at the bedding. Come on, this is Woody's Roundup.
Yep.
Honestly, it looks wonderful.
I think a large part of that, though, is due to the paint job of the room and the sun streaming in. This would look like an ugly mustard pukey yellow in a lot of rooms. Here it looks fantastic. I kind of feel in B tier.
B for bed.
B for bed.
Woody's Roundup standees.
But I think it just seems too flimsy.
Yeah, like it could just break instantly.
Like, okay, if it was from the original show, then that's amazing. And that feels like something Al would get. But
I'm pretty sure it's not.
yeah, if it's just a recreation, kinda what's the, like, I feel cheated. Like, if I'm a little kid and I get this, and I'm like, well, why didn't they make a good version?
Shoot. Already, I'm seeing 3 pieces of merchandise I didn't include.
It's fine.
Below cups, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
Woody's Roundup radio.
I like that they went the extra mile in designing, like, the station's numbers in that same font, you know? And there's the red rain. It feels like it came from Woody's Roundup, the show. I like parts of it.
It's probably not even a good radio.
Yeah, C tier.
Yep.
The Woody's Roundup TV show.
Is this a piece of merchandise for Woody's Roundup? Well, they did sell the VHSs. The little we saw of this, it wasn't good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, guys. This show sucks.
I can see why it was canceled.
Yeah, I don't think it was canceled because of Sputnik. I think it was canceled because its Sput was bad.
The merch outclassed it.
Yeah, we saw one episode and like there was a good gag, a very Adam West Batman-like gag, but the rest of it was so clearly like below that tier. I'm sorry, Woody, I disagree. I don't think it was a great show. No. I think it's worse than the Prop House.
Sure.
There we go.
Now next we've got the lyrical tracks, because there's actually quite a few of these. Not as many as Cars.
Yeah, not
but it
nearly
does
as
have
many
its
as
own
Cars.
Selection. Let's start with I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away.
I can't let you. I can't let you. I can't let you throw yourself away.
This is the main theme from Toy Story 4. It's used in regards to Forky and like the whole montage of Woody trying to protect Forky from throwing himself out. And it's a pretty solid track, honestly. I really like it as its own piece of music. It's a very solid song on its own. I think a weak part of it is, again, I don't want to keep dragging Toy Story 4 preemptively, but it's just not well utilized. A lot of these other songs we're going to discuss have just great tie-ins with the movies, while being their own independent songs. But this one is a great independent song, but tie-in with the movie, it refers to one little event of the movie, and even so, only vaguely.
A huge benefit to every one of these songs is how they're used in the film. Because I think on their own, not a single one of these songs is reaching the heights of Cars. Not even the famous ones. But they're used in the films to great effect. This one is not.
But it's a good song.
Yeah, it's nice, it's catchy, it's fun. B?
Yep. B. Next, the one. You've Got a Friend in Me.
Great.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.
This is a classic.
It's famous.
It's just kind of a nice, simple song, though.
Okay, here's the thing with this song. It's very catchy. It's very iconic, in large part because it's very catchy. It fits the vibe of the opening scene of Toy Story very well. It's the theme of the franchise for a reason. It's also really simplistic. It is repeating the one idea over and over, and not really in various ways either. Like, the most interesting part is the bridge, which is just, again, restating the main idea. But hey, it is a reaffirmation of the primary ideals of the Toy Story franchise, and it's a pretty fun song.
And the movies use it very effectively.
Yes.
You know, it's montage in Toy Story 1 showing what Woody is to Andy. In Toy Story 2, reminding Woody what he is in the show. And in Toy Story 3 as the growing up montage, showing, you know, what Andy's toys meant to him as he was growing up.
I think it's solid, but I wouldn't listen to it on my own time. I'm sorry. This is like a B tier.
I think it goes above Throw Yourself Away because of usage in the movies.
Yes.
When She Loved Me.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
This one's really different from the others.
Yeah.
Especially because this is an absolute gut punch.
This is a weird one. It works super well because of the sing. On its own, it's a strange song because it's very sad and moody, but it's entirely self-centered, which is obviously intentional because of, what's going on in Toy Story 2. But it's all about the individual singing the song and what they're gaining out of the relationship. And so it feels actively awkward to listen to. I want to rank it really high because of the scene, but like on its own, I don't know.
I think it's a very good song on its own, but I understand what you mean. It's very elevated because of the scene, but I think I'll think too highly of it to like rank it below A, honestly.
Yeah, I think A is solid.
We belong together.
We belong together.
There's another one that's carried by it saying it fits the credits of Toy Story 3 really well. It works as sort of a capper off of that film. Maybe not of the entire franchise as maybe we could have had, but it was very important to get the good vibes back after that bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
And this song does that really effectively while reassuring everyone that we're all gonna go on and have happily ever afters. It's fine. It's like, for me, I feel like it's C tier.
I actually completely agree. I think it's kind of unremarkable, but it like works for its purpose in the movie. I will go sailing no more.
Out among the stars I sail, way beyond the moon.
This one, I have complicated feelings on. Why don't you speak?
I like it, but this is clearly written for the movie and not for its own listening, especially because so much of the film's, not the film score, but like what you would hear from the film score is incorporated in the actual song. This is like you listen to it because you're like nostalgic for it or thinking about that scene, but it wouldn't go in a playlist.
Yeah, 100%. It's really weird, the parts of the Scores film that just pop up while you're listening to it.
Yeah.
That being said, I have strong positive feeling towards it for really getting across that horrible emotional wrench that Buzz went through. Because like, you get bits of it like through the film, but really you're so busy having fun with everything that like taking this moment to really showcase what it means to Buzz is important. But listening to the song on its own and the lyrics is just so... It's almost devastating. Like that your entire reality, everything you were and loved is nothing. And then the eventual anime like refusal to accept it only to be brought back down to harsh reality. It has high highs and low lows.
Yeah, I think it's a great song for the movie, but on its own, it's a why would you listen to it?
Yeah. B or C?
I'm gonna say B. Strange Things.
Strange Things is probably my favorite song in the franchise.
Oh, it's good, but like, really your favorite.
Yes, I think that it has all of the strengths of, say, You Got a Friend in Me in terms of musical quality, but it has much more interesting and diverse lyrics that follow a storyline. And it's just genuinely fun to listen to. It is like another side of the coin to You Got a Friend in Me. It showcases some of the same themes, but from a darker perspective. And I really like that. Also, just, I like it. It's a good song.
It is a good song. You know what? I agree. I'll put it in A.
Yep.
The Woody's Roundup theme.
Woody's Roundup, right here every day. Woody's Roundup, come on, it's time to play.
I mean, you can't fault them on accuracy.
Okay, look. This song would be great. Unfortunately, it has one big problem. It has lyrics.
Like, it really does sound like a theme song from that era. but the problem with that is that theme songs from that era were, and I'm sorry again, boomers, terrible. It's not a terrible song, it's like, it's not good.
The people who wrote this song were given a specific assignment. That assignment was nail the classical, like, campfire cowboy song. Way out west where the bad guys are, and the only thing to guide them is the evening star, like that. And then also merge that with classic like 50s TV show theme songs like Green Acres and Petticoat Junction. They nailed it. That is a perfect melding. That being said, it has an absolutely fantastic backing track, but the singing just ruins it for me. It's intentional, but that doesn't make it good.
Yeah. D tier. Battle of the Lonesome Cowboy. This was straight up weird.
I was a lonesome cowboy.
It's only in the credits of Toy Story 4. And it's like in the long credits too.
Yes, this feels like a song that was written for the film that they didn't find a place for, so they just threw it in.
Yeah.
Because the theme of it goes completely against the ending. listen to the lyrics for once and you're like, wait a second. It's like, wow, I only found my purpose once you started playing with me. Like, I'm so happy to be your toy Bonnie.
It's a nice song.
It takes an insulting ending and gives it a downer tone though, which is a problem. I think we needed a happy song for that movie to end on, and this wasn't it. It's not F. It's not F.
It's not F.
No, but it's either C or D.
I'm gonna say D.
Okay.
Bit of a weird one here, but just hear us out on this. The descriptions on Disney Plus.
Yeah, have you used Disney Plus lately? Probably. It's actually a fantastic streaming service, and people who deny that are all cowards. But they kinda really suck with one aspect. Their descriptions for everything are terrible. When you click on the film, it pops up with a banner and with a brief description of the film. So we're going to rank those by how good the banner is and how accurate the description is. All right, original Toy Story.
Great banner.
Yep.
Woody and Buzz, nothing more to it. Meet Woody, Buzz, and the gang in an adventure full of humor and heart. What a generic DVD box description.
It is. It is highly accurate, but my gosh, does that not encourage you to watch the film whatsoever?
You don't get to know anything about them. Like, it's not like actually the concept of the movie, which is that Woody's life is upended when Buzz comes into play, you know?
These descriptions have to be 1 or 2 sentences at most, but you can easily do so much more with those 1 or 2 sentences.
Yeah.
That being said, it's not going to be nearly as bad as the others, so
Oh, so is it C?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Toy Story 2.
Join Woody, Buzz, Jessie, and the gang to boldly rescue one of... Hold on. Okay, first off, great banner.
Yes, the banner gives it a ton of points.
There's some problems here. They're rescuing Woody.
Yes, so Woody isn't rescuing anyone.
Okay, Woody's not rescuing anyone. Jessie is rescuing herself.
Yeah, she's not with Woody. She's not rescuing anyone. In fact, she's trapping Woody. She's one of the kidnappers, pretty much.
And Buzz is trying to rescue Woody. Okay, so great. 1 out of 3 pass.
And it even says one of their own. So like you say, oh, they're rescuing Jessie at the end. No, one of their own.
And Bullseye is a person too.
Yeah.
Why is Jessie highlighted?
I don't know.
Yeah. 2 spaces between rescue and 1?
Yeah.
How did that slip?
How easy is it to get this job? Like,
this is a bad description.
It's bad. Okay.
This is like...
Look, the thumbnail gives it a ton of points, but my gosh, that's like, it's an inaccurate, unfun, bad description.
With a typo.
With a typo. That's D at minimum.
Okay, it's D. The banner saves it from S.
Yes.
Next up is Toy Story 3. First off, the banner.
No.
No, this is not good either. Why is Buzz the focus? This is not Buzz's movie. Why is Jessie here? Jessie is not a main character in this movie. Woody, Buzz, and the gang return for more adventures with new friends. Okay, some problems.
Yeah.
New friends. Those are not their friends.
Yeah, those are their enemies.
To be fair, the movie first brings up like it's their friends. So, okay, maybe we can let it go. They return for more adventures. No, it's just the one adventure.
And also Woody and Buzz separate very quickly.
Yeah. Again, incredibly vague. What happens in this movie? I don't know. They return for more adventures.
This is more vague than the others. The others can give you a tiny idea of what might happen. This is just, oh, it's another adventure.
Why don't you mention Andy growing up?
With the banner, it's definitely D tier at least.
It's better than Toy Story 2. The description of Toy Story 2 is that bad.
Finally, Toy Story 4.
Pixar animation. What? That's it? What is going on in this
Legendarily. Okay, first. Wait.
So I think it's become clear that there is once again an elephant in the room. Once again, there is a certain movie that just isn't quite up to snuff. Why is it bad? Well, let's rank the worst parts. If you watched the Cars video, you would know that the way we dealt with Cars 2 was we tried to find improvements for it. We believe that with Toy Story 4, you have to throw the whole thing out.
We've had controversial opinions before. When this movie came out, and probably still today, it was beloved.
Oh yeah, this movie was really liked when it came out. Like, it was like treated as this like amazing thing that they managed to make a good sequel to Toy Story 3. That was a common sentiment. When we watched it, I was already uncertain of it. I didn't think I disliked it.
This was back when it came out, 2019.
I knew I had a lot of issues with it, but I didn't know how to articulate anything. Just a couple months later, I was on the it's bad train.
I remembered getting kind of emotional at it in the theater, and for that reason and that reason alone, I kind of liked it. People have historically really liked this film.
It's gotten more flack over the years.
On our rewatch, we watched all 4 of these movies. Toy Story 4 pops up. To sum it up, it's so much worse than I think we ever imagined. We gave Cars 2 a lot of flack. This is worse. Okay.
All right, let's just be clear for this list. S tier is worst. F is like least worst.
Yeah, so if we put something in S, that makes it like, oh, this is one of the worst decisions in film history.
F is, well, they could have workshopped that, but whatever.
First of all, the ending of Toy Story 3, aka the fact that this exists.
Toy Story 3, what an incredible ending it was. What a perfect conclusion to the trilogy. It's so good. How could you screw with it?
It's one of those endings that is so definitive that simply continuing afterward is a problem. That being said, we have seen these endings in other franchises before, had things continue after them, and then it turned out that those things that continued after them did so rather well, and on occasion has even proven itself to not be necessary maybe, but to be an overall improvement to the franchise. It's very rare and should be handled with the utmost care and caution, but it has technically happened. So is this an inherent flaw with the film? Only at first. The film can work past it. So for me, this is solidly at C tier. The film existing, we can determine problems that are better or worse than that as a baseline.
It's an uphill battle for sure when you have a movie with this premise.
Next up, this is an image I took from my phone. This is a representation of the cascading waterfall, is how I would put it. The 1,000 tiny problems that add up into grievances.
All the little things about the movie that are like, that's not right, but like, don't like make the movie bad on its own. Little things like, say, Toy Story 1, Buzz is seemingly the first toy to ever defect. You know, little things like that.
Yeah.
But this movie has a lot of them.
So we picked this specifically because it has a lot of weirdness. Forky throws himself out the window and Woody's like, oh, okay, I gotta go catch him. He turns around, spends some time talking to Ham and Buzz, and he says, Ham,
How far to our next stop?
5.32 miles, give or take.
I can make that.
How did the driver, the dad, not notice Ham talking in a voice? In fact, who is driving this van, and why don't they care that all these toys are shouting?
I'm a spark. Be quiet.
I'm litter! Freedom!
Why does Woody land like no distance whatsoever away from Forky, even though he spends like a minute talking to Ham and Buzz after that?
Cars are fast.
After Woody flies out the window and catches up with Forky, they have to make 5 miles in one night. He says, oh, I can make that. And he brings Forky and they very quietly, casually stroll along 5 miles of road and catch up by morning. Problem: Toy Story 2. Buzz embarks on a rescue mission to rescue Woody. They find out that, oh, these people are on this side of the city. So they head there. By the end of one full day, they have made it 2 blocks.
Good work, men. 2 blocks down and only 19 more to go.
What? 19?
Are we gonna do this all night?
5 miles.
Toys are really small.
I don't think this movie realizes how small they are.
When I first heard that, I was like, oh, okay, so they're gonna hitch a ride with another car. That's easy. But they don't. I was baffled.
Those are like my problems with that 15 seconds of the movie. The problem is every 15 seconds of the movie has that. That's a slight exaggeration, but genuinely it feels like I was like stomping, like this doesn't make any sense. At least once every 5 minutes of film time, we ran into a scene like this that had just problem after problem after problem after problem. Not a contradicts other movies level, some of that, yes, but also on a fundamentally this does not make sense for the story level. This movie has just so much that it all comes together to be one giant grievance.
I'm gonna put top of B, I think.
Okay. Minor inconsistencies. You could arguably equate these or like say, oh, this should have been included in there. Maybe so, maybe not. I think there are arguments both ways. But it's stuff that like, okay, this is inconsistent with the previous films. This is something that was directly established with the previous films that is no longer true in this film for no specific reason, just because they didn't want it to be. The example here is Woody sleeping with Bonnie. I have a question for you. At what point in the other films did Woody go to sleep? It's a trick question. He never does. In fact, none of the toys ever do. Even when they're locked away all night long, or in safe situations where they should be able to sleep, they never sleep.
Hey, this is Dane from the future. Yeah, we were totally off base about this one. Toys do sleep. We see it at least twice in the original trilogy. In fact, Toy Story 2 has a whole dream sequence. I actually do not know how this slipped our minds, and I'm very sorry about that. We're still keeping this in because the general critique of inconsistencies from the original trilogy's logic still applies. But the main one we're highlighting, which is sleeping, is just incorrect, and we're sorry about that. They seem to need to sleep less than normal humans, but like they do actually sleep. Sorry.
But again, this is everywhere in the film. Gabby asks Woody, when were you made? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Yes, you do, Woody. There was an entire film that taught you exactly when you were made. Stuff like that is constant. And it's another cavalcade of minor issues that becomes an extreme annoyance. I would put it like below the other one, but like on the same tier.
The timeline.
So this is my pet peeve for the film. The timeline makes no sense. Woody asks Bo how long she's been a lost toy.
How long have you been out on your own?
7 fantastic years.
7?
She says that she spent years on the shelves of the antique shop.
We wasted years there just sitting on the shelf collecting dust.
How long were you in here?
I don't know, a couple of years.
And before that, he says, well, you know, I thought you went to this loving home with a new kid.
How did you end up here? I thought you were given to a new family.
Oh, you know how it goes. The little girl grew up and didn't need me anymore, so...
I have a question. When does this movie take place? Scenario 1. It takes place immediately after Toy Story 3. Andy was 17. 7 years plus 2 years, that means in the flashback at the beginning of the film, Andy was 8. Problem. That means that the flashback at the beginning of the film took place before Toy Story 2. And also, this doesn't account for the time needed for Bo to have her new child grow up and give her away. Even if that was only a year, this is impossible. Even if that wasn't even a year, this is impossible. So let's imagine it takes place significantly after Toy Story 3. Why is Bonnie still in kindergarten? Why is she just beginning kindergarten?
She wasn't that young in Toy Story 3.
No, like I would have pinned her at like 5. Also in this movie, it's not like she acts any older. She doesn't look any older. She doesn't feel any older. It's pretty definitive. And this feels like it took place fairly soon after the end of Toy Story 3. Doesn't leave a lot of room for all the shorts and stuff, but whatever. So that doesn't work either. None of the timeline makes any sort of sense. This is a minor problem. I am going to straight up admit that. This is D or this is F. This could have easily been fixed. To me, this is just indicative of the larger problem of the writers genuinely not caring enough to research even the smallest details of the previous Toy Story movies. I picked up on all of this instantly just because I had recently watched the other films. So that's D or F.
Let's say D.
Oh, this is the backpack being left in the antique store.
I requested this one to be put in because this is deranged, even from day one. Like when I first watched the movie, I was like, well, how did that sequence make it into the movie? Listen, there's this conflict later in the movie where Bonnie forgets her backpack. Buzz is trying to get the parents to stay at the antique shop. So Buzz is saying his phrases over and over, telling them to stay. And the mom's like, what, is it broken? Okay, let's just put Buzz away. And it's getting to a point where Buzz is about to be stuffed into a cabinet and they're just gonna leave. So Buzz says, doesn't say through his voice box, just straight up says,
your backpack's in the antique store. Let's go!
Oh no, my backpack!
And they're like, what happened? Oh, you left it in the antique store? Okay, guess we have to go back. Sorry, what happened there? First of all, why did Buzz not talk through his voice box? They can do that. We saw in Toy Story 1, they can say whatever they want through their voice box.
That's right. I'm talking to you, Sid Phillips.
Second off, how was that not of any interest to anyone? The mom was holding him and he says in a crystal clear voice something that is absolutely direct about their situation, down to antique store. And they don't even give it a nod. Like, sorry, that is not possibly one of his sayings. Third off, this isn't explicitly clear, but it's framed like only Bonnie heard it. And the parents don't even acknowledge that Buzz talked. It's like he telepathically said it to Bonnie. It doesn't make any sense. It's just one of those weird things that's like, why did they write that? I'm sorry, it's bugged me since day one. It's like, what does that mean? Like, none of that makes sense. It doesn't make sense as soon as you think about about it at all. He just says it in front of the mom, and it's like only Bonnie heard it, and he says it through his mouth and on his voice box, and it's so specific, it's like they would know he's alive, right?
To me, this is just another example of this, but it's an extreme variant.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's like
the rare shiny Pokemon of bad movie scenes.
Yeah, it's like, what is that? Sorry, I just wanted to nitpick about it because I don't see anyone rag on that, but it's like, come on, why did they write that?
It's in B tier for sure. Next up.
This is the lack of any significant climax.
Toy Stories 1 through 3 all had just great climaxes.
Not just great, but very intense ones that played heavily into the themes of the film. Way more intense than you would expect of even a general Pixar film. So the first film, its climax is saving Buzz and his rocket from Sid, and that huge, brilliant sequence, and then the massive chase for the moving truck. Like, insane stuff. The second one is the loading zone for the plane, and then chasing down the plane and like catching its landing gear and throwing Jesse out and onto the bottom as Bullseye was catching them up. Also insane stuff. Toy Story 3 climax, my gosh, what a masterstroke. The escape sequence, reversed heist, the Lotso betrayal, the garbage scene, and the incinerator. Incredible stuff. It's like one of the things that like almost defines a Toy Story movie to me now, because I watched the 3 movies in a row that all had climaxes that were 10 times more intense and interesting and important than I remembered them being. And then Toy Story 4 doesn't have one.
Toy Story 4's climax is really low stakes. The biggest threat is just that the parents are gonna leave. But they have that in control the entire time. Not even really a threat. They're just trying to get back to the truck. The most environmental thing they have to work through is making the pole string between the Ferris wheel and this other place. I don't even remember. It was so nothing.
Yeah.
It was just nothing. It was not exciting at all. The movie is not nearly as exciting as the first 3, but like it was just such a wet fart of a climax.
So like, here's the thing. How much does it degrade from the movie?
It's not necessarily like a bad thing, but it makes it feel less like a Toy Story movie.
You know, it's a significant downside because after all this movie, it feels like the least we could ask for is a Toy Story level climax, and it doesn't even give us that. You could say D, but like, how well could you even repair it without changing most of the movie? I think it's C. But yeah, following up on your last point, the stand man's just showing his face. This film does not feel like a Toy Story film.
It does not. It has all kinds of little things that make it feel alien, like fan fiction, more than just the plot being bad. And one of the specific points that Joseph pointed out to me is that grown-up faces were really avoided in the first 3. Now, they weren't like you couldn't show them. They were shown. But like, they were really avoided.
And noticeably, they were almost only ever shown when they either got on the toys level or were in an important conversation or moment with a child.
If you watch the ending of Toy Story 3, Bonnie's mom is in that whole scene. You see Bonnie's mom's face when she turns around for 3 seconds to say hi to Andy. For the rest of it, you don't see her face. You get a lot of time with Bonnie and like Andy. Adults are like shown prominently when it's like important, but even Andy is still like kid, he's 17. He's not quite an adult, and he's still a kid in the toy's eyes, so it's fine. But like even in like
Andy is their kid, so he's gonna be shown like he's a kid, even though he's not. And it stands out. Like this is why it stood out to me that they showed the adults' faces everywhere in this movie, is because it was so weird that they kept doing it with Andy, but so important to that film.
And like, to be fair, this is not a hard rule. This is like a loose guideline that they just follow to keep with the themes of the movies.
Yes.
It was honestly like, it was originally born of technical limitation, but they embraced it.
Yes, it's one of many things that makes Toy Story films, these 3 films, feel different to every other Pixar work.
Toy Story 4 just does away with this completely. They have no hesitation at all showing grown-up faces. Like, they're just everywhere, shown flippantly like nothing else. And it's like, you don't even realize there's an issue until you watch this movie and you realize, hey, the first 2 movies did this and this movie doesn't. And like the thing is, that's not even like the only problem in this theory. It's just emblematic of the fact that it doesn't feel like a Toy Story movie at all. And this is one of the ways. It's like they didn't really understand what made the movies tick.
That's not the only example. Toy Story 4's main color scheme is very dark, heavy purples and oranges. It's very carnival-like colors. But all previous 3 films did very strong candy colors. They really wanted wanted to emphasize the brightness, the positivity, and even in situations that were dark or theoretically dull, they really made sure to include a lot of colors that popped so that it filled the realm of being made of toys. Toy Story 4, in comparison, its color scheme is so muted.
It looks like a drama.
You could say, oh, that makes it stand out, but that's kind of the problem because the first 3 movies did stand out from each other hard, even in their color schemes, but they followed sets of very simple rules that kept them feeling like they were all connected. And Toy Story 4 completely does away with all of them.
That's not the reason it's a bad movie.
C or B?
I'm gonna say C. Next up, Ducky and Bunny.
So this isn't actually the characters. This is for the focus on humor.
This movie has a lot of comedy focus. More so than the other movies, maybe. Well, Toy Story 1 was pretty comedic. This movie has a lot of time spent on humor. It's not very good humor.
Time spent on humor and only humor, I think is the main thing.
Yeah.
Because even while Toy Story, like say 2 had fake Buzz going around and he was just for laughs, really, there was still important story stuff going on at the same time. They were still progressing. They were still making moves as protagonists and antagonists. Jokes were worked in and humor situations were worked in the first 3 films. But in Toy Story 4, they take time out of their lives to just have you laugh. Except they don't succeed because it's not funny.
It's not like, oh, we just grew up, got older, and it's not funny anymore. Because we just watched the first 3 and those are funny movies. And this one is just not. It has like some good gags. Ironically, Ducky and Bunny have one particularly good gag with the scene where they're playing to get the key. And like that's a really entertaining sequence. The problem, of course, is that the entire sequence is utterly useless.
Yes.
Like, it accomplishes nothing. It could be cut from the movie, nothing would change.
As I was saying, when the first 3 movies were being funny, they were also progressing things at the same time. This movie takes a scene to just be funny, quote unquote. And Ducky and Bunny, what purpose do they serve in this film?
They're comedic relief.
What purpose does Buzz serve in this film?
He's been relegated to comedic relief.
What purpose does Forky serve in this film? Like, you know, we'll tackle those things. But like, it genuinely feels like half of the cast here, including Crash Bandicoot, by the way. I don't know what his name is.
Duke Kaboom.
Okay. Everyone except for Woody and Bo are just there for comedic relief. If you go through the entire film and work out every single step of Woody's plan and Bo's plan, like their moves, whatever, all of it could be accomplished with just 2 toys. There's nothing that anyone else is needed here for. The only purpose they actually serve is to make jokes and have entire scenes dedicated to making jokes. That is a significant problem because this movie also happens to be very poorly paced.
It's just also just the letdown from the trilogy because it's just not funny. And that's really unfortunate.
There are definitely sequences that made me laugh. I would say I would laugh like 5 times in this movie, which is theoretically fine. There are definitely a lot of movies that try to be funny where I've laughed less at, but it's such a letdown from the first 3 where it felt like even though they were dealing with much more serious situations and going through much more intense scrutiny, it still found a lot of time to be genuinely really funny. It's a problem on 3 fronts. It's a problem with useless characters, it's a problem with a bad focus, and it's a problem with pacing. So I think it's B or A.
We can say it's our first A. Next up is Forky.
This is how they utilized Forky versus how they marketed him.
Forky is so bizarre. I don't know what he's doing in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's such an interesting idea. Here's the thing. I'm not at all opposed to the idea of a kid being able to make their own toy. Because really, that's just like a less elaborate version of what happens to toys at the factory. I am not opposed to Forky being alive. But they tease it like they're gonna explore it, but then they don't. They don't do anything with Forky. It's so weird. It's not even necessarily that Forky is Woody's replacement, because Bonnie's just having a Forky phase. We went through this in Toy Story 1. And the thing is, he wants to throw himself away, but like, why? Why does he want to throw himself away? He understands that he was
made to be a fork, like he
understands he was made to be a utensil, and he understands that for some reason he's thought of as a toy and he thinks that's wrong. But like, he's just trying to throw himself away, not even trying to be used. Is it because he came from the garbage? But like, that's, I don't know. That whole thing, that is so odd. But that's the other thing we could have explored, but that we didn't. He flips sides to being a Bonnie loyalist just after one conversation with Woody. And then he is just kind of done. He's just used as a plot device to get Woody back to, interact with Gabby. He's totally sidelined despite, being all over the marketing and also having this very interesting premise. Yeah. Because he is a very interesting premise that they absolutely could have taken the whole movie to explore Forky's existence, but they squander, they do nothing with it. It feels so strange.
A good way of putting it, the first quarter of the movie is spent building Forky up as though he's going to be a main character, or arguably making him a main character. After the first quarter, his development is entirely done. He is in about 5 scenes total after that. That is it. He is completely gone. He is relegated to a damsel to be saved. That's all. That is everything. His contribution to the movie has ended. And also, even the little bits we get with him don't make any sense. Like you said, why does he want to be thrown away? He says, it's because trash is so warm and comfortable and I feel at peace when I'm there. Then why did he try to throw himself off in the RV truck onto the side of the road? That implies he just wants to be away from Bonnie. Those two things contradict each other. Such a weird waste of a character.
That's an A-tier problem, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Next, we already went through this actually a fair bit, the voice box.
It's just a big problem, the fact that Gabby thinks she needs the voice box because she's broken, but the fact that she still has value even though she is quote unquote broken, that's not a sport at all. It's like being broken is actually a big problem with her. I would actually I don't want to be that one person, but I feel like it's almost a little ableist. The thing is, her not having a voice box is her disability, but her having it be fixed is such a crucial component for her, and they don't treat it like what it is, which is that it's not. It's weird. It's never questioned.
If you're saying, the real ableist thing would be for Woody to, not give up his voice box, since, that it doesn't define who he is. No. I want you to imagine a scenario in which you have a friend, not an enemy even. We'll be generous. You have a friend who was born without an arm. And now you are put in a scenario where by the wish of a magic genie, you can chop off your own arm and sew it onto theirs, and they will have an arm and you will not. Morally, are you required to do this? Will your life suffer for it? Are you ableist if you do not? If you do, are you ableist? This is a very just bad scenario all around. It's a bad idea for a film.
There's a reason that when you're being examined on whether or not you can donate your kidney to someone, the first thing the doctor asks you is, do you want to? But the thing is, Woody is critically examined for the fact that he didn't do this immediately. At least that's how it's framed.
Yep.
It's so odd.
Bordering on S, I think it's top of A.
Yeah.
If we hadn't talked about Gabby and Phil's tier list, she would also be here and she would arguably be an S. Okay, the other toys are not used at all.
Yeah, they are background characters. This is a Woody movie only.
Yep, Woody and Bo Peep. Notice that this image includes all of the toys except Woody, because it's true. Literally none of these toys have a role in the film. They serve no purpose except to briefly prevent the dad from driving away and leaving his daughter's prized toys behind.
Feels upsetting because we spent 3 movies with these guys, and then suddenly we just don't get anything on them. Buzz and Jessie had a relationship going on. It's like it never happened.
Yep, Jessie progressing into becoming almost a main character throughout the course of the films. She is relegated to doing a single thing in this movie. She flattens the tire and that is it. Throughout the first 3 films, one of the points of progression was how much the cast grew and how much their importance grew throughout them. So for the first film was largely Woody and Buzz, yes, but even then we kept cutting back to the rest of the toys in the game and how they were handling things outside of that. Even Bo Peep, where they're saying, oh, if only you knew how much Andy loved you, by the way. We had a lot of that in the first film, and they played a significant role in getting them back into the moving van at the end. In Toy Story 2, a bunch of them head out to rescue Woody. In Toy Story 3 is an entire ensemble show, as all of them have roles to play, and all of them have opinions and things and issues. They're all in this together as a huge theme in that movie. And then all of it is just abandoned.
It's another way disconnected from previous Toy Story movies, where this is entirely a Woody character study, but not even a particularly good one.
I wouldn't even say good at all, actually.
No, I don't know. It's disappointing because I like the other Toy Story characters. What about Ham, man? Ham was pretty funny. I don't think he really does anything except read the GPS.
Buzz is the biggest loss for me. The first 3 movies, 100%, these were the 2 main characters. This movie,
That's true.
Throw them away.
Buzz actually has the worst problem going on.
But yeah, I think this is bottom of A, top of B.
Yep.
Which one? So let's talk about that worst problem.
One of the strongest character traits about Buzz in the trilogy is that he's smart. He's a very intelligent leader and commander. He's a very intelligent person. He knows how to take stock of a situation and make the best of it.
In fact, his struggle Like, his primary struggle and why Woody is a leader before him is because he is not entirely capable of looking at a situation without his objective intelligence from all of his memories of his missions. He can look at everything impersonally, which makes him an incredible leader. And, he loves everyone, obviously. But it's that very intelligence that gives him struggles in movies 2 and 3, in comparison to Woody, who may not be quite as smart, but is much more human.
But in this movie, Buzz is an idiot. Like, he is stupid. I don't know how else to say it. He's stupid. His inner voice thing is a whole can of worms. What do you mean he's questioning his inner voice now, his own thoughts? It's like he's a brand new toy. And then the fact that his instinct is to push his button and listen to whatever pre-cooked phrase says for him to do.
Woody and Forky were last seen on the highway. But where's the highway?
The slingshot maneuver is all we've got. Full speed ahead.
Thanks, inner voice.
It's so weird. And we know as the audience, that's just like him voicing his internal thoughts. He's like subtly like moving the needle with his voice lines. I think is like what we're supposed to get out of that. But like, that's not really, he doesn't really even realize that. He just thinks that it's like a magic 8-ball.
Also, no kid I've ever talked to realizes that. I think that's something that at least I picked up only on this repeat viewing.
It's just straight up strange. It's a strange gag that they thought was really funny for some reason that just isn't, and just makes him out to be an idiot. The fact that when he comes back from the antique shop and like the toys are cornering him about, what do we do, Buzz? What would he do? And the fact that he doesn't know what to do at all. Like that one little scene just stood out to me because it's like in Toy Story 3, after their first playtime, they were like, what do we do? And he said immediately, okay, let's plan an escape sequence, get out of the room. I'm gonna go talk to Lotso.
We'll get this straightened out. I'll go talk to Lotso about moving us to the other room.
We're trapped!
But in this movie, he like struggles to take stock, is like freaking out. It's like he's not even a leader. And then he presses his button that says he has to leave.
It's a secret mission in uncharted space. Let's go.
I think I have to go.
Where are you going? Why?
Should we all go? Are we going?
No time to explain. Attack.
No time to explain.
And then he says bye and jumps out the window. Like, I don't know, why is he so stupid?
He never once makes a plan in this film.
No, never!
He never once has a reaction that isn't fed to him.
The thing is, his character isn't assassinated. It is weird that this strong trait of his is just completely absent.
They give him the new trait of stupidity and make that his primary character trait.
Well,
I was present and explain.
You mean show and tell, big guy.
Like, the movie doesn't focus on his kindness. It doesn't focus on his leadership skills. Like, it doesn't focus on his inherent trust, on his regained loyalty. It doesn't focus on his deep bonds that he can forge with anyone in a quick amount of time. Especially a huge thing that he had in every situation that was so useful in all 3 previous films was his adaptability. Any situation, he could quickly adapt to it. Even as a space ranger with his mind broken, he could quickly adapt to it. Even Belt Buzz saw an elevator shaft that went infinitely up, instantly adapted to it. That is gone too. The only thing that is left is his voice actor and his stupidity.
It's a secret mission in uncharted space.
It feels like a hollow shell of the Buzz we once knew, and that's unfortunate because he's one of the strongest characters. But he's not like ruined. It's just, I guess squandered.
And it fuels back into this one. The first 3 films, it was Woody and Buzz as the 2 main characters. Buzz is there out of obligation now. He shows up as halfway through the film to participate in plans that don't require him. And he's just there to make jokes. He is comic relief, and that is it.
I'm gonna say A.
Next, we got the big one. Woody's ending, personal motivations, and overall arc in this story make no sense.
All the conflict, the ground he treads in this movie is treaded on in the previous movies. Being neglected by Bonnie. Toy Story 1 covered this thoroughly. Feeling like he doesn't have a purpose even as a toy. Like wondering what he's even meant to do. Toy Story 3 covered this thoroughly. I think Toy Story 2 even did. Actually, it's both the case where there's almost too much to talk about because the previous movies cover basically everything this movie does, but then this movie walks the opposite solution. Oh yeah, and the whole reliance on a kid, being there for a kid is one of the most noble things you can do. It's like a toy's purpose practically. His whole notion of should I be a lost toy or not almost. Toy Story 2 so thoroughly covers this. So it's crazy that this is all walked back on.
The thing is, I think it's impossible. You have to genuinely try to turn off your brain and not pay attention to the film if you watch any Toy Story film and then watch Toy Story 4 in order to see them as compatible. Every Toy Story film. Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 3 is the anti-Toy Story 4.
It's crazy. The thing is, they degrade the idea of being a museum toy in Toy Story 2 and not having a kid. That there was nothing better that they degrade that so much. And like, if you want to challenge that idea in this universe, okay. If you want to like really examine those themes, it doesn't even do that. It just kind of treats it as the correct solution. Like, Woody knew he needed to move on from Bonnie and being a kid's toy. Even though it's like Toy Story 2, we have an entire argument between Woody and Buzz about that exact thing, but Buzz is right. It's all so weird. I'm sorry, that's what this whole movie is. How did it exist?
Toy Story 3. Woody was in the toy chest for 10 years.
10 years!
Without being played with. His philosophy in that film is it doesn't matter. Because of what he had gone through in Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2, he had now been set. He believed with all that he was that loving someone does not necessarily mean getting something out of it. Even if he was never played with, he was still Andy's toy, and so he would be there wherever and whenever Andy needed him, because Andy was his kid. So he was willing to wait in that toy chest, that dark, cramped toy chest, for 10 years for that. And when Andy was like, okay, we gotta put it in the attic, that was what he said to the other toys. He was like, if Andy needs us in the attic, we're going in the attic, because we are his toys. And you know what? The movie frames him as right.
But in Toy Story 4, he's not played with her some days of the week and he gives up!
Yeah, for less than half the week he is not played with, and it's like, well, I guess she doesn't love me anymore.
It's so weird.
Better off without me.
Because that was right before he decided to leave. And here's the thing, we have the freaking kindergarten scene where he sneaks away with Bonnie to kindergarten. And get this, Bonnie needed him!
So this is completely counterintuitive to every previous film. It's also counterintuitive to its own film. Standing on its own as a movie without the others and their own theming and everything that they stand for, this still makes no sense whatsoever for him. Because his primary conflict is that he is not needed by Bonnie, except every part of the movie up until he decides to leave Bonnie and feels like, oh, Bonnie will be okay. Says that she does. She doesn't know it, but because he is her toy, he still helps her.
But like the implication of the kindergarten scene is that he's doing for Bonnie what he did for Andy. I don't know. It's weird. Just his conclusion at the end of the movie that, okay, it's time for me to go. Bonnie doesn't care about me is just insane. It's just, you can't draw a logical line to it. The thing is, because it's like, no way does it make sense. He's not loved anymore by Bonnie. But the thing is, that's not even true. He was still being played with. It's so weird. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing it. I just don't even know how else to say it. It doesn't make sense.
Let's listen quickly to what Andy says about Woody.
But the thing that makes Woody special is he'll never give up on you. Ever. He'll be there for you, no matter what.
All right, well, now it's been about 2 weeks. How does Woody treat Bonnie? How does he prove his loyalty?
You ever think about getting out there, seeing the world?
Without a kid, Bonnie will be okay.
Bye! Brilliant work!
Primary theme of Toy Story 1, selfishness. Woody stands against that. He beats Sid. He teaches him a lesson. He converts him. Primary theme of Toy Story 2, having faith. Woody beats Prospector. He teaches him a lesson. He gives him a path to conversion. Primary theme of Toy Story 3, loyalty at all costs. Woody beats Lotso, the ultimate counterpoint to everything that he is and stands for. Teaches him a lesson. There is a spot of brightness for his future as he learns that. Toy Story 4, Woody makes a selfless decision to be disloyal because he has no faith in Bonnie.
Even if you do think that Woody deserved to have his own life away from being loyal to the kid and to like just adventure out in the world as a lost boy, even if you do think that that's what he deserved, he would never make that decision.
Fundamentally, one thing that is consistent with every toy in this entire franchise, including the bad ones like Lotso, is that their best, most glorious purpose, the thing that will fulfill them completely and totally and utterly, is being loved by a child. And that is true for all of them, including the one toy that is supposed to be counter to every single thing that the Toy Story franchise stands for. Even he was only converted into that because that didn't happen to him. And it's not as though he's leaving Bonnie in capable hands. Buzz has become an idiot.
Yeah, that's true!
Her favorite toy, Forky, is not a leader. He has been alive for a couple of days, and every second of those couple of days, even when he was kidnapped, he was relying on Woody. All of the time. He wasn't relying on Buzz. He wasn't relying on Mr. Potato Head. He wasn't relying on the unicorn or whatever. He was relying on Woody. Woody was his mentor, his father figure, even when he didn't want it to be, and then when he did want it to be. Because, like, as soon as they connected, they were pals for life. And Woody gave up on Forky to go out and be a lost toy.
It's like they were trying to force an more emotional ending, you know? Because, like, even within the movie, it doesn't really make sense as the end for his arc. It feels so odd as the end for his arc just within the movie standalone. Like, when I rewatched it, I genuinely forgot that's how it ended.
I would say that even if the rest of the movie was as good as Toy Story 3, this ending would sour it to unbelievable degrees. It would cut its rating in half, then half again. It is fundamentally opposed to every single thing that this franchise stands for, and it doesn't make any sense even within its own plot. Yes. Finally, the alleyway scene.
Remember when we were talking about the dam breaking? This is when the dam broke.
I think the alleyway scene from Toy Story 4, it is among my most personally hated scenes in film history.
Well, anyway, I have the script for the alleyway scene right here.
Okay.
I have the screenplay. So we could go through this bit by bit here, explain why it's bad. So, like, they just tried to get Forky, Woody, Bo, Ducky, Bunny, Buzz. They all went to try to rescue Forky. That was the goal.
Yeah, okay.
But whatever, the point is they completely and totally failed at their goal. They get their bearings, they're in the alleyway. Woody says, okay, so Forky's still in there. We hurry and get him before they lock him up because Forky was brought out. But like, he's gonna be, locked up again. He's still in danger. They didn't accomplish anything. Buzz says, Woody, it's better if we wait. Like he's gonna start to say something. Woody says, no time. There are only 4 dummies. We number them, we have the advantage. Buzz says, Spice off bunnies, but the backpack, I don't know what he's talking about.
The idea was for Buzz that because they left Bonnie's backpack in there, that Bonnie and her parents would return and go in. I don't know why this would have been helpful to them because they can't actually function while any adults are in the room, but I guess that was an idea he had.
Right. Anyway, Lotso comes in. Woody, look at us. Woody stops, takes in the game, a broken mess. This is true. Nobody is with you. It's over, okay? Okay, big problem here. Nobody is with you. Sorry, Forky's in danger. Like, hold on, what?
Also,
why is nobody with him?
A broken mess is not quite correct. One of them is covered in dog saliva. Another one has a broken bike. Not even broken, it's just fallen.
They're tired.
That's it, they're tired.
We're wasting time, we can do this. Giggle McDimple says it's not worth it. What do you mean it's not worth it? Forky is in mortal danger. He is alive, you know. What do you mean this is not worth it? Hold on.
Reminder that Giggle McDimple's sole character trait is that she's a cop. Like, she's a protector of the people. This is a kidnapping case where she says, just let him die.
It's not worth it. What do you mean? Bo says nobody wants this. Bo? What do you mean nobody wants this? I think Forky at the least would want it.
Nobody wants this. What an excellent theory, Bo. Let's go ask Forky.
This doesn't matter what you guys want. One of your own is in mortal danger, has been kidnapped. Woody says, I do. Bo says, why? Woody says, because. Bo says, why? Woody says, just because. No, Woody, elaborate, please. Bo hooks Woody, forces him to look her in the eye. Why? Woody says, because it's all I have left to do. I don't have anything else. Wrong answer! Woody, why did you say that? No, that's not why. This is not all you have left to do. This is the toy. This is Forky. What do you mean this is all you need? The reason you're doing this is just because it's all you have left to do. No, this is about Forky. I'm sorry, you don't get to make this scene when it's about a character in mortal danger. It's not like a MacGuffin that's important to Bonnie. It's a living person.
Imagine a child is in a burning building and you, a firefighter who's trained and done this, is rushing in to save her. And then, 4 people grab your arms, hold you back, and say, you can't go in there. We can't save them. It says, well, yes, I can. I have to. Why? Because. Why? Just because. Why? Because it's all I have left to do.
No, Forky is in danger. He's with a psychopath.
Why is she saying why? To a rescue mission.
Bo, what is wrong with you?
It's not like this is new behavior. Remember the beginning of Toy Story 2 with Wheezy?
Wheezy is like the ultimate counter to this scene, by the way. Woody goes out of his way to rescue a completely forgotten, neglected toy that they wanted to sell. And he's treated as a hero for it.
Versus his current kids favorite toy in the world who he is the mentor figure for, and is too naive to understand the danger he is in.
Bo says, so the rest of us don't count? Bo. What? What? No, where did you get that from? This is the line, but we both realized Bo isn't a bad character. She is a horrible person.
So the rest of us don't count. What is wrong with you? On the other side of that glass is a toy, a friend, a human to them who has been kidnapped, is in active danger, and this might be your only genuine chance to go in and save them.
The RV could leave any time.
Yes, and because you are tired, because you did one attempt and it didn't work, you decide you don't want to do it anymore. When you are called out for it, you say, well, my feelings don't count?
Yes, right now, they don't count. This is bigger than you.
It really is. I don't think they understand this. A human to them's life is in danger. They have been kidnapped. Someone who is extremely important to somebody that you love has been kidnapped. And all you can think of, genuinely, this line just says, do my feelings not count? My feelings? My feeling is that I don't care about this person who's in danger. Are you discarding me by helping them? I am not exaggerating. That is the scene as written.
Woody says, that's not what I meant. Duh. Bonnie needs Forky. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to it than that, but that's
sure. That's a start. Bo says, no, you need Bonnie. Open your eyes, Woody. There's plenty of kids out there. It can't just be about the one you're so clinging to. Bo, stop. Woody brings Forky back into the conversation. Finally, he took too long to do it, but he brings Forky right into it. This is about Forky. And Bo immediately discards it, like Forky's not even of any importance at all. As if Forky is a distraction from the real problem, which is that Woody is obsessed with Bonnie. No, this is about Forky. Bo was talking about something completely different and alien here. This is crazy. What is wrong with her? Sorry.
Also, you need Bonnie. Really? No way! That's never been a theme in any of the previous films that a toy needs their kid. That they might enjoy being with a kid, helping them out, being played with, making sure they have a good life and watching them grow up. No, that's never been a primary theme in any of the previous films. There definitely wasn't a scene in Toy Story 1 where Andy was missing Woody and Bo specifically commented on how important Woody was and how fulfilled he was by being with Andy. There definitely wasn't a scene like that.
Open your eyes, wait, there's plenty of kids out there. It can't just be about the one you're so clinging to. When did Woody bring this up? Excuse me, at what point did Woody even imply that Bonnie was the center of the universe when it came to kids? Like, that is a complete nothing sentence. It's not a counter to anything that Woody has said at all. Even if you just take it as it is, the line itself still doesn't make any sense. And also, it can't be all one you're still clinging to. Woody is still being played with! He's still loved! It's like this has been clear in the movie that he's still being played with! It's only the third thing had been picked that week! Woody winces then bristles. It's called loyalty, something a lost toy wouldn't understand. Thank you, Woody, first intelligent thing you said.
Actually, genuinely, the first intelligent thing, the first in character thing he said in about 30 minutes, and the first true thing that's been said in this scene. He is loyal to his kid, as established in, oh, nothing much, just the centerfold of the previous movie and a major theme in the first two.
And it's twofold. He's not just loyal to his kid, he's loyal to Forky, who is in mortal danger. Let's keep reminding them of this. Bo is stunned. Woody wavers, seeing the hurt in her eyes, then digs back in, stubborn. Bo says, I'm not the one who's lost. What are you talking about? You know who is lost? Forky in the trenches. Sorry. Yes. Shut up. Stop it. This is not an argument. What are they doing?
Almost a side tangent. I despise lines like this. The real crime is this thing. I'm not the one doing that, whatever. Guys, you realize that it's possible for two things to be true at once. Like, two crimes can be committed at the same time. Two people can be lost at the same time. Like, this is such a stupid, like, line of thought that pops up so much in movies. Like, so, like, that was an extra sour note. But, like, that line in this context is horrific.
Literally replace the scene with humans and realize how bad it is.
All you have to do is replace the toys that are being acted here with a group of humans, and replace Forky with like a little girl, all right, who's been kidnapped. And the fact that Bo is being played as though she is in the right.
To the others, let's get out of here. We got Carnival that leaves in the morning. Bunny says, come on, we'll find our own kid. What a weirdly heartless thing to say. Like, sorry, what? Whatever. Ducky, you're crazy. Excuse me?
Imagine going up to someone who wants to rescue a child from a burning building and saying, you're crazy. Why would you ever care about anyone but yourself? That would happen in maybe like a Toy Story 2 moment with an interaction with a villain. But they are being portrayed as though they are in the right.
Bye, Woody. Good luck with Bonnie. Bo's forgotten Forky exists. It's like Forky is an anti-meme to Bo. This is crazy. Boner gained experience darkness. It's just Buzz and Woody now. Okay, so Buzz is sensible, right?
He has a plan, theoretically. It's a stupid plan, it makes no sense, but he has a plan.
Buzz, Woody, you did all you could. Time to go home. What? No. Time to go home. Buzz, didn't we have a scene in Toy Story 2 about how you weren't gonna give up on Woody? Why are you giving up on Forky? Stop it. What are you doing?
You did all you could. No, he literally didn't. We start out this scene by him saying, oh, we didn't do all we could. We have a new opportunity. That's good. And then he says, nah, you did everything you could. Let's go home.
Woody barely hears him, still staring off, still stuffing the pain down. There's a job to do. Or else who am I now? No, not or else who am I now? This is a toy in danger. I don't leave toys behind, Buzz. Yes! 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 He doesn't leave toys behind.
Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3 all confirm this over and over and over and over.
Buzz, yeah, but Woody, you're actually Woody, not now, not ever. Woody is firmly in the right here. There is no yeah but, Buzz. There is no yeah but. There's no way you'd even say this.
I think that the yeah but is to imply, oh, you know, I have a different plan, but he just never says it for some reason.
Yeah, that's still bad. Like, he should just communicate with Woody, we should do this instead, and not act like the others. It's weird. And Buzz says, and he left me behind. No, he didn't. You left Forky behind.
You left you behind. He invited you to follow him.
Yeah.
Which is within all of your moral boundaries, okay? He is heading forward. You are hanging back. That's the difference.
Cherry on top of the scene, but now inner voice. And the inner voice keeps saying lines, telling him to go back to base. And he keeps pressing for a better answer. This is so against his character to walk away from this that the movie has to try actively hard to get him to.
It is a DM railroading him into a different decision. And this might be the only reason this gag exists, is because they genuinely could not think of another way in which Buzz would leave Woody here. Really, this wouldn't work anyway. In fact, this could have been a character moment, one that's a repeat of previous film stuff, but whatever, a character moment where he decides not to listen to his inner voice and continues on anyway. But nope, he says, well, I pressed it 15 times and they gave me the same answer for some reason, so let's go.
Even if you say that, like, okay, well, the movie could prove later that Woody was right all along, they were all wrong, even though the scene itself kind of contradicts that by having Woody go on his weird thing about how it's all he has left to do. Let's skip forward a little bit. This is the next time we fall out with Bo. Giggle, I can't believe the nerve of that cowboy. Who does he think he is? What a psychopathic thing to say. Exactly. He was way out of line. You did the right thing leaving behind. What do you mean out of line? Whatever. Bo was quiet. Folks get distracted. Giggle says, and another thing, Woody asked you for help and he treats you like that? Well, yeah, because Bo was acting like a psychopath. Giggle says, he only cares about himself. Stop. No, there was a toy there. Forky was in danger. What do you mean he only cares about himself?
That is so infuriating because he was the only person in that alleyway scene who cared about someone other than himself. That was the sole thing that separated him. That is why everyone else disagreed with him. That is why there was a conflict to begin with, because he was the only one there who cared about someone who wasn't himself.
And then Bo says, no, you're wrong. Woody's always trying to do right by his kid. And Forky is in danger. How many times do I have to say this? Not just by his kid. Giggle says, by putting everyone in a danger. That's that kind of crazy loyalty. Just by putting everyone in danger, Forky was in danger. Stop it! Stop ignoring its existence! Bo says, you gotta love him for it. And then they go back to help Woody because Bo is in love with Woody. That is like the entire purpose. That's like the entire thing. Woody was not treated as right. Giggle was explicitly bringing Woody down. Like, the point of the scene is that Giggle is, here is all the things wrong with what Woody believes. And then Bo is the force of, okay, but here's why I'm going back anyway. But that's not accurate at all to what went down. It's crazy. It's weird. This whole thing could almost be salvaged if Forky just wasn't alive.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I don't think it actually would be salvaged because there are significant other problems, but that is such a horrible, terrible crux giant elephant of a problem.
Yeah, the thing is, Forky being alive is an elephant in the room that everyone is ignoring. Like, the thing is that Forky was like a coloring book. This would be different. It would still be bad, but like, it would be different. But like, Forky is alive. This is about Forky being in danger. This is insane. I don't get it. The alleyway scene is like one of the worst scenes ever because everyone just acts like a psychopath except for Woody. And the thing is, Woody's framed as in the wrong, as the one leaving people behind to be self-obsessed. Even though he's not being self-obsessed, he is saving a toy. He's saving Wheezy. And it's just like so terrible. It's like the scene where the whole movie just falls apart and you have to stop and be like, something is deeply wrong with how this movie was written.
It was written by people who hated the previous films,
Exactly.
is how it feels like from this scene.
It probably wasn't written by people who hated the
Oh
previous
no.
films, but like, it feels like it was.
I think it's still below the ending.
Yeah.
Because this scene, you could work really hard and make it work in a different way. The ending, I think, could destroy a great film. Still an S tier, though.
What a terrible script.
What a terrible movie, actually.
Nothing made it enough.
No, yeah.
That's funny.
And there were things that we didn't talk about either. It is a film that is so confused on its own merit. It doesn't have a self-imposed identity. Actually, here's another issue with the film. The first 3 movies, they have definitive themes that are clear and obvious to anyone paying attention. I want to ask you a question. You just saw this movie. What's the primary theme of Toy Story 4?
Selfishness? Because that's what they all say Woody is. No. It is independence. No, it's not that. That's just the ending. It's self-fulfillment. No, but they say Woody's wrong for self-fulfilling. No, I'm trying to think. I'm actually trying to think about this.
Yep.
It is, doing right by yourself rather than right by for others, which is selfishness again.
Yeah, that's
and
just
also
selfishness.
It's not about that because the problem is that by doing right by his kid, he was allegedly being selfish. I don't want to swear, but I almost want to say bros before,
Yeah.
It's...
but it's the opposite of that.
Sorry, no. Forky is like the baby, right?
Yeah, he's like the child that needs to be nurtured.
Great, okay, so ladies before babies. That's the theme of Toy Story 4. I don't know. I'm at a loss here. I'm at a wall.
The closest I've been able to come is finding your own worth. But that is contradicted by Forky. So I really don't know.
What is happening?
Like, it's not like I'm bad at this either. It's not like I pay less attention than an average moviegoer, I would think. Usually, you can name a film I'm saying it's like, oh, here's its primary theme, here are its supporting themes, and here's what does to support those. I would think any moviegoer that really likes analyzing films is off to do. But I can't with Toy Story 4 because it's such a confused mess. Maybe if I watched it a couple more times, I could find out what it was going for, but I don't know. And that's a serious problem. Perhaps now we have properly defended our stance on why this movie is terrible. My only question left is it better than Kung Fu Panda 4? I would say maybe yes, just because this one is well animated.
It is very well animated. It's a beautiful looking movie.
And at least it takes a while to kill its characters.
It does take a while to kill its characters. All the acting is great. Not that acting in Kung Fu Panda 4 was bad at all, but the voice acting in Toy Story 4 is actually particularly high quality.
All right, well, that's done. We never have to talk about it again, which is good because I feel like our hatred of Toy Story 4 has been a sort of Damocles hanging above us for as long as we've seen that movie.
And now we put it to rest.
Yep.
So let's just end this on a light, fast palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Time for real toys.
Woo! Real toys. Let's go. Barbie Dreamhouse/set.
They're neat toys. They're very common. I do like how many occupations Barbie represents.
Yep.
That's fun. I do like the idea of it all going together in a set like a dollhouse that could be I guess intermingled with each other or something, but I don't have a lot of feelings about this.
My problem with the Barbie stuff, well, its main benefit is that it is so universal that you can find so much stuff for it. But my main problem with it is that almost every set is independent. It's not like Lego, and it's not like a lot of other stuff, or it's not like other dollhouses where like, oh, you know, you buy all this set and all this stuff and it fits perfectly within this dollhouse structure, or you can attach dollhouses to each other. Every $50 set you buy, that's its own separate set, and that gets kind of annoying. And the very plastic dollhouse style just isn't for me as well. You aren't able to really like get in there and personalize it and, you know, design it as you want. Whereas like regular dollhouses you can. Sad to say, very much C tier. Ooh, the Etch-a-Sketch.
This is worse paper.
I have no idea why this ever took off. It's just bad. It's a piece of paper and a pen, but with less options and harder to draw. Jacks.
So I think the point of these is that you lay the jacks on the ground and you bounce the ball, and as the ball's in the air, you pick up as many jacks as you can.
Without stabbing yourself.
I feel like the novelty of this kind of wears off pretty quick.
This is one of those games that people from the 50s say, well, we were entertained for 20 hours straight with this, and you kids have all your video games and stuff now. And all that really does is tell me I don't want to live in the 50s.
Yeah, it makes me hug them and go, I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah.
And then be reprimanded for disrespect, but still.
Legos.
Legos are great. They're just great. The only real problem I can think of with them is that they are overpriced, but that's it.
They are ridiculously expensive. Here's something I didn't realize until I started getting into Legos as an adult, though. They are expensive because they are high quality. The margins for error for a Lego set is so tiny, and they will throw away so much in order to get to those margins. Less than 0.0001% or something like that is the amount that come with a missing piece. And even then, the sets include extra pieces that are the most likely to be missing pieces to replace those. The price doesn't come from the materials like people think it does. It comes from the absurd amount of quality control and how many layers of quality control it has to go through, and all the people and processes that have to be paid for that. It's still overpriced, but it's only like 20% overpriced as opposed to the 4,000% that people think.
And they are great. They're like 3D puzzles.
Oh yeah, they're just straight up super fun and super creative as well. If you don't fit into the whole puzzle category, you can just get bins of Legos to make whatever you want.
People make their own custom sets all the time. I'm still infuriated about that Owl House one, getting all the signatures it needed and the Lego team just saying, no, and we won't elaborate why not.
I love Legos. They're very expensive, and I'm sorry, but I really do love them. They make for great decorations too, just around the house. If you make a Lego bird and put it on a windowsill, like that gets attention, and nobody disparages you for it. S tier easily. Retractable lightsaber toys.
Pretty cool, because lightsabers themselves are already a pretty cool concept, and these are just real lightsabers.
These also kind of represent just like regular swords to sword fight with. A tier. Rubber ducks.
Rubber ducks are cute. They're like nice little collectibles, but there's not a lot you can do with them except watch them float.
Yeah, I feel like they're collectibles for people who can't afford real collectibles.
Okay, C it is.
Yeah. C for the sea that they live on. The doctor's office mazes. Yeah, the bead mazes. You go to a doctor or a dentist or any real place of business that has a play area, they always have one of these.
I don't know what you do with them.
You fiddle with them. You store all the beads into their own respective colors or their own lines sometimes. If they're real complicated, they can join up with other ones, and you can team up with multiple people. But really, they're basically just a high-yield fidget toy. No! Okay, yeah. Bop it.
Bop it, let me tell you. These are crazy. Cause like it's a fun little game. It's kind of like Simon Says, but like unhinged. One time when I was a kid, there was a talent show.
It's like a school talent show.
It was one of those co-op things. I went with my parents and stuff, see other kids perform, and lots of people did their own little things. Like this one kid, did juggling. This other one, played a nice little piano piece. Standard talent show stuff. I brought my Bop It. I went onto the stage. Everyone kind of looked confused, like, what was I gonna do? And I just started playing. And I kept playing. I was good at this game, okay? I kept playing my Bop It. My parents didn't actually know I was gonna do anything, and I signed up. I just brought the Bop It, and that was my act. And I kept going. There's no time limit on these things. They didn't know how long it would take. So I was at 20 minutes of solid bopping it. Yeah, it was crazy. And the thing is, the audience, I didn't know how the audience looked, so I was so focused in the game, I was demonstrating my pure skill. The poor audience. They just watched me pop it. I think some people just left. I think they had acts lined up and everything. But nonetheless, I was a Bop It expert, and I demonstrated it to everyone, and that's my personal history of the Bop It. My parents were mortified, but it was wonderful, so I have a lot of fond memories of this thing. And the best part of the entire thing is that I just made that whole story up, and none of that happened at all.
The corn popper. Why is it called a corn popper? It doesn't pop corn, but it makes fun noise as you lawnmower it about. And you know what? I like these more than regular lawnmowers. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I know they're a toy for toddlers, but I can get a good 20 minutes of entertainment just like putting one on the ground and walking about and listening to it pop. You do that and you put on an audiobook in the background. Oh, that's peace and harmony right there.
Yeah, it's a satisfying noise.
B for corn.
Next up is Build-A-Bear. This is kind of the definitive teddy bear, you know, the definitive stuffed animal.
Yeah. We put this on here to like represent teddy bears and stuffed animals.
Yeah, but like Build-A-Bear in general is like a really great concept because like there are all these relatively uniform stuffed animals that you can build because you get to go to the workshop and you get to pick your skin and you get to like stuff them in the sewing machine. You even get to press your foot on the pedals. The employee's nice. You get to do the heart ceremony where you get to wish something and then put it inside its own stuffing. You know, you can put sounds in it or whatever. You put scents in it. Scents are the best. I recommend the cotton candy one. And also the key part is dressing it up because they have a whole line of clothes that fit all the bears. And it's great, the whole variety. And some of the clothes are like really good. They have this huge variety of kinds of bears. They have licensing deals. They have a whole Sanrio lineup now. It's great, really wonderful concept. And it's a fun experience to go build a bear and build your own thing. My problem though is that the prices are insane. They have jacked up the prices like crazy recently.
And they don't have excuses like Lego does.
No, they don't. So one Build-A-Bear trip just gets costly fast when you just have the ideal Build-A-Bear experience. Last time I went, I got one bear, and I got a couple pairs of clothes and this other menu of things, and I was staring at a $65 receipt for like one teddy bear and a couple of clothes. So like what, does the material make up for it? No, the material's actually been getting worse. They've been getting smaller, actually. The quality is getting worse. Some of them feel fine to pet, other ones feel worse to pet, and the prices are getting higher. It's to the point now where like I can only recommend them by like shopping for older bears secondhand and getting newborn clothes. Cause like even the clothes are getting high up there now, and they have loose strings and stuff all the time now. It's like, it's degrading, and that's unfortunate because it's such a fun concept. I think they don't even have the washing stations at the places anymore. So sad. But also it's such a great concept that I can't put it anywhere lower than A.
The foam football. This is the bane of my existence. The foam football is a thing around here. Every household has one, and they raise their kid by throwing the football at them. Not to catch, they throw it at their head and kill them. The primary game of catch is with the foam football. There is no baseballs, there's no softballs, there's no basketballs. It's the foam football. And you go out into the cornfield, fight off the corn snakes, say, go all the way out there. That's about 300 yards as far as a whole football field. And you throw the foam football to the other person. If they can't catch it, you beat them up and drown them in a mudslide. I hate the foam football. Every single time a relative comes over, every single time I had a friend over as a kid, every single time I hung out at a friend's house, they'd break out the foam football. And they'd be like, you should catch the foam football. And sometimes I caught it and sometimes I didn't. And if I didn't, I was banned forever. But if I did, they're like, you passed the test, now throw it back. And if they didn't catch it, then they killed me. Foam football is the worst toy. It hurts people in real life. All right, Hot Wheels. Did you actually own these? Did anyone actually own these?
I owned them. I even owned a little set that they could like do a Sonic wheel in.
Yeah, right. Okay, so my issue with Hot Wheels is that they're expensive. The little cars are neat, but some of them go forward if you wind them up and some of them don't, which is weird. But it's the sets. They're made of this really cheap, super orange plastic that looks ugly. You have to connect it and it takes forever. And if at any point any dog or small child, which happens a lot in a family with lots of dogs and small child, steps on it, the entire set is ruined forever because it's all pieces of an individual set. Legos, those will take a lot of punishment. Hot Wheels, you can breathe on them raw and they're broken. And that's my issue with Hot Wheels. Blech, Amiibo.
Honestly, Toys to Life, it's a sad concept.
That's a sentence.
I meant to say something like it's sad how they failed, but I actually said sad concept, but the sentence is so funny. I'm trying to justify the sentence, but I can't justify it. It's a good concept. It's upsetting that it failed, but it worked out so well for Nintendo. It's weird, because like Nintendo always does their own thing. This is like one of the rare cases of them seeing like a product trend and just jumping onto it. Like, they never do this, but they did it. And they over-succeeded. Amiibo are still around and still being sold, and they're even getting away with jacking up the prices to crazy amounts now.
Yeah.
Because
I just bought a couple of $30 Amiibo, and you know what? I'm happy.
And get this, the Galaxy ones are $50 each. But Nintendo's getting away with it. They somehow succeeded in this market that barely lived. And like crazy. And honestly, Amiibo are cool. They give us figurines of things we wouldn't have gotten figurines of before. And they're great little display pieces, but you can also just play with them too, like their own little minifigures. Like, I love that the Smash Bros ones are all themed after Smash Bros trophies, and the Toys Life aspect in some ways it leaves some to be desired. In other ways it's neat, because in some ways it's just like it unlocks a costume in a game, which is like okay. I think the worst one is probably the fast travel being locked behind an Amiibo in Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah, that's like bad. Luckily, I already owned the Amiibo.
It has been used to potential before. Like Smash Bros, I think probably did it the best, honestly. The fact that you can train your own fighter and that they are like unique. They can save the save data on them.
Yeah.
That's just really cool stuff. And I'm glad that they're still getting used. Like you can still use your old Amiibo on new games. Like it was a proper quote unquote investment.
I really like Amiibo. I like them as a concept. I like them as a display piece. I like that I can just buy figures of all these different video game characters in all these different forms. Fantastic. A tier.
Yeah.
And then the other Amiibo, Angry Birds Go Telepods.
These are my Amiibo, okay? And I would argue these are even better because they can drive around, especially the Angry Birds Go ones. They are actual functional cars. No, I mean... I didn't think that.
They are tiny Hot Wheels.
Yes, they're actual little Hot Wheels, and that's awesome that they're toys to life, but they are still like Hot Wheels you would just play with, like normal race sets. They're such little fun little designs of these characters. I love these telepods. They're tiny, though, really tiny. I'm upset I lost most of them, because I loved them.
Yeah, they're small enough to like accidentally eat.
Yeah, that's probably what happens to them. I love that like the scan thing is a trophy for the Angry Birds Go one. And the Angry Birds Star Wars ones, they were just little fragile figures, but they were still neat little guys, and they are weird little characters. I like them. They are lesser Amiibo.
Yes,
but like I love them.
They
Sorry.
were only valid for like a few weeks or something.
That's true, because Rovio went on a rampage on their own video games, and now you can't play any of them. Please, if someone knows how to play Angry Birds Go now, specifically before they ruined it with that one update, and I'm begging you to tell me. Oh, and Bad Piggies. I need Bad Piggies back.
B for Bad Piggies.
Okay.
Thinking Putty. This got in over Silly Putty because it's better.
This is an awesome fidget thing. My only problem with that is that it doesn't last. Eventually it does just kind of melt down, and then it's not really as good as like a thing to just squish around anymore.
You play with Silly Putty as a kid, you play with Thinking Putty as a kid and as an adult. It's so much firmer, but yet so much looser as well. It's very pleasant to fidget with. It has two major problems. Well, yes, there's the old thing that haven't sold toys. One major problem, it really cannot be gotten out of clothes, and it's very easy to get it into your clothes. The second major problem, it tastes terrible and is full of toxins, and yet I ate a lot of it. C tier, actually. I think it fits right in the middle.
Okay.
Spike the Ultra Dinosaur.
The biggest dinosaur on planet Earth. It shows up in your living room, and you're like, there's nothing bigger than this dinosaur. And it moves. You can move it with the remote control. It walks around. It roars. It eats a stone ball and spits it back out. It does everything. It's the Buzz Lightyear of real life.
Yes, that's how I would put it. This is the dinosaur equivalent of Buzz Lightyear for the toy. Its main problem is that, like most toys that are that motion-filled, it degrades over time, and I don't think they're being made anymore.
The top is A, I think.
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh are neat? No, they aren't. I don't know why people like Play-Doh.
It's like modeling clay, but softer and colored.
The thing is, though, when I want to model things out of clay, I asked for actual clay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, why would you use it instead of clay? Play-Doh, I guess because it's mass-produced and much cheaper. That's kind of it. It smells good, but that's a problem because it makes you want to eat it. I've never been happy to play with Play-Doh. Ooh, how about the ultimate adult toy?
It's one of those toys people will say, it's not a toy. It's a full-fledged operating system. Yeah, operating system, whatever. I'm sorry, y'all. If it's not a toy, why do you act like it is? Why do you spend all your time configuring Linux, trying to make it work, doing all these weird Linux things, and bragging about how you did this on Linux, instead of just using it like a normal person? I never brag about how I do things on Windows, but you guys won't shut up about Linux. It's the ultimate adult toy, sorry. Call me again when Mixcraft works on Linux.
Nerf weapons, I think they're great. What if we had gun, but no hurt. Then they made 4 billion of them, and that idea is so simple that you can adapt it to pretty much any way. We have Nerf axes and Nerf swords and, Nerf crossbows, and that's cool. But the Nerf straight up guns can also be very fun. It's play war in the very best possible way. The best way to describe like a Nerf fight. It is the only kind of kids fighting to kill each other that is not just parental accepted, but parental approved. It makes you a better person by I decided.
Wow, Nerf's really up there.
I really like Nerf stuff. Below Spike the Ultra Dinosaur.
Sure.
On the opposite side of the coin, there's Airsoft, which is what if we had Nerf, but it was bad. We've done some controversial opinions, okay? Here's another one for you. Airsoft is for people who are too immature to enjoy Nerf. It's the same concept, but instead of, but what if no hurt, it was, but what if instead you got bit by a mosquito? Oh, does the tension actually make the war more fun? No. Okay, well, are there more varieties? No. Okay, well, is it cheaper? No, it's just Nerf, but it comes with a warning attached. Like, it's more annoying to play. That being said, sucky Nerf is still pretty good.
Next, we have Beanie Babies. These are your grandparents' amiibo. The craze was like crazy, and people still seem to think the craze is alive for some reason. Like, a bunch of older people do, and I've had to tell them, no, your Beanie Baby collection is actually not worth that much. They are neat little guys. They're just tiny little fragile babies.
You can buy them like 4 for 25 cents at thrift store.
Yeah, they're like fun to like line up on a shelf, They're like fun decorative pieces, and they're perfectly competent tiny stuffed animals.
Like, honestly, you know what? Like, when we clean out the house and like get everything back and ordered, I wouldn't mind just like having a chest full of nothing but Beanie Babies for people to pull out. Yeah, that's cool. It's perfectly fine. It's the stuffed animal equivalent of the rubber ducky. Bouncy house.
Luigi's the house that is all bounce. It's like a safe trampoline. Yep. Although not as exciting as a trampoline, but it is still fun.
I would argue it's more exciting than a trampoline. You don't get as much height and as much density to it, but because it can be designed in so many ways, there's a lot more to partake in.
That's fair enough. I think the height contributes to trampoline a lot.
My main issue with the bouncy house is that after you turn like 11, they say no longer.
Yeah, it's like my only excuse to go into a bouncy house is if I'm at a kid's birthday party, like when my nephews or something, and they rent out a bouncy castle or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that's the most where I could go to a bouncy house. It sucks.
Bouncy house. B for bouncy. Grab toy.
Grab toy. I want to tell you about something. His name was Chomper. I miss him. He was this grab toy, but like he was just a big cartoony shark, even more cartoony than that. And I loved him because he was just, you grab with your hand, you click, click, and then he chomps. You could bite people with it. It was awesome. You could hold toys in it. You could eat anything, really. It could eat the house. I miss Chomper so bad, and I don't know where he went, but I miss him to this day because sometimes I just don't want to reach for or get up. I just want to use Chomper and grab it. Like right over there is like a Mountain Dew can, and I don't want to get up to get the Mountain Dew can. I want to get Chomper and bite the Mountain Dew can and bring it to me. So grabby toys are great because they're great when you're a kid because it's a toy, and it's great when you're an adult because it's a utility that doesn't exist anywhere else.
Yeah, B for Chomper. Geotracks.
Oh shoot. Geotracks.
You might have noticed a distinct lack of train toys. That's because every one of them is F tier compared to Geotracks.
Geotracks eat all of the train toys.
It's such a shame that they did not take off. They are so good.
The designs are so cool, and they link up with each other. The way they link up with each other, it's more secure than like Thomas, You can control them with remote controls and have them be fully automated. But like if you don't have the batteries, that's fine. You can just play with them like normal train toys. You can make all these elaborate train sets. It's so much fun, and it's so easy too. One of the big parts about Geotracks is ease of use. It's not complicated at all to set this stuff up. It's a little complicated for a couple of the sets, but like hardly compared to like a lot of other train sets. They're just so much fun.
There are also, barns at a Grand Central Station, and there's a plane that you can buy. Little people that you can throw in there as well. The general design and build quality is solid too. Like, Thomas wooden planks or whatever, those are pretty good. Geotracks are only like a step down, and they're 1/10 of the price. Or they were. They are solid, very well constructed hard plastic that easily hooks into anything and everything else. Even the off-road tracks can hook into the on-road tracks if you want. Unfortunately, they were too awesome for this world and were taken before their time. For some ungodly reason, they didn't sell well and were stopped being produced. S tier though.
S tier.
Now for my childhood toy.
Planet Heroes, the counterpart to Geotrack, maybe the same manufacturer. I think they were both Fisher Price.
They were made at the same time as like competing brands. They aren't trains. But they both had TV shows attached to them as well that lasted 3 episodes and then died. These are the space toys. It's full of aliens and all sorts of spaceships, and it is really good stuff. You can incorporate them into a lot of setups. Toys all have movable limbs. And in the second generation on, they have like lights and things that they can say. And the vehicles, they have really solid pegs that you can attach the characters into or have them grab onto like weapons and things like that. They were definitely a bit overpriced. Objectively, they don't really have anything on Geotracks. But they were my childhood toy and I loved them, and I'm still so sad that they went out of production and I only got one 3rd generation Mercury because I wanted all the 3rd generations. They did a whole chrome set and it looked so cool. When I was a kid, I thought people would try to break into my house and steal my Pluto because he was worth $50 on eBay. To a kid, it's awesome. And like, to adult me, it's very nostalgic. Yeah.
They are like definitive little action figures.
They are incredible as action figures, I think is a good way to put it. The piggy bank.
Everyone should have some kind of piggy bank. However, you probably shouldn't have it in one that's distinctly, there is money in this. And also you shouldn't have one of the ancient ones where you need to break it to use it.
We have Ham here, but he's representing the classic piggy bank, maybe one of the worst designed toys ever. It's an excuse for parents to find a random gift to give their kid that says be responsible. You can keep your coins in like a peanut butter jar, all right? Or you can keep them under your mattress or under your pillow. You can keep them anywhere. You can keep them in a pocket of a specific shirt. No one cares. But if you buy a piggy bank, you're legally bound to put them in there. Well, does it keep them safe? No, it's easily broken. Does it keep them hidden? Well, no. Anybody who walks into a room and sees a piggy bank is like, oh wow, every single bit of this person's money is in one spot. And I know exactly where it is. It's on display. What happens if you want to use your money? You have to destroy your toy. I don't know why it took off.
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
D for Piggy. Toy Freddy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty big. You could probably fit a kid in him.
And he's very friendly. Like, look at that face. Isn't that the face of trust?
Why does he have the teeth that the Woody's Roundhouse guy does?
Kids are really attached to him.
I don't like his eyes.
Yeah, actually.
I want to hang him. There we go.
F for Freddy.
F for Freddy. Okay, yeah. And there we go. That was a much nicer, smaller toy list than the car list. Good luck editing this one.
Oh, no.